All right, we're here to do it again. Through thick and thin, Ship Chasing shows up for a companion stream to Thursday Night Football. Tonight, we have Easton Stick versus Aiden O'Connell, but more importantly, we got Danny Kelly from The Ringer swinging by in the second quarter, talk some ball with us. We got our girl Steph Miller coming by in the third quarter to recap all of our teams that are in the high-stakes playoffs. We got our Pick 'em sweats. Can Devontae Adams out-yardage Gerald Everett by 40? We're going to find out tonight. Pat Fryer-Helmo.
This is why I'm hot.
Anita Hanjob.
Fix your sight.
Jamar. Alpha play chase.
Are you kidding me? Kadarius Toney? You can't handle the heat.
It looks like we're finally at this point. You're right.
Good evening. Good evening. We got Ben Gretsch. We got Pat Carrain. I would say sentiment heading into this game, like last week, it was this game is so aggressively bad on paper in almost a charming way. This week, everyone just felt beaten down. Like people were full on capitulating, do something else tonight. But we are here, guys. How are you feeling for this game?
I mean, I forgot to put it on.
I'm getting it up right now.
I think the reason is Pete last week was like, oh, it's so bad that, it could be good. Who knows? And that we did see like some stuff from Zappy or whatever, but they
already went 3 and out.
Yeah,
no. Went 2 minutes. I'm 2 minutes late. They already went 3 and out.
Yeah, they're already punting. The game absolutely sucked last week. Trubisky was terrible. And it was like, yeah, this is what an island, like a horrible island game looks like. And so to have it again the very next week, like, I don't blame anyone who's like, I can't do it again.
But as I said on Twitter, I think our guy Stoic Physician was like, it's a tough sell for you guys to ask us to watch this game. I just want to be clear. No one is asking you to watch the game. We're just asking you to watch us.
This might as well be July as far as I'm concerned.
What was that?
I'm hanging out on Chasing.
Did you guys? But
I just got it pulled up. What did I miss?
We gotta laugh at the funny stuff on the punt. The gunner just like straight up tackled the punt returner before the ball came down. It wasn't even close. It was just like a nice little shot to his ribs. It wasn't even that hard of a shot. Here's the replay. Look at this. It's a fair catch, and he's just like, boom.
Oh wow. That was pretty good.
It's like, if we're just gonna have a preseason game, at least we can laugh at the silly stuff,
I know. It's disappointing. I don't know about you guys, like back before we started doing the high stakes, back before, I was playing any best ball. I remember that feeling I would get for like that first Thursday night football game of the fantasy playoffs. And it always held so much importance. I remember a Vincent Jackson game. I want to say it was like against the 49ers, the opening of the fantasy playoffs. This must have been like 2010, 11 era. And he dropped like 35 or 40 points to get me off to a huge lead at the start. And it was just like the best feeling in the world to get off to a fast start in the fantasy playoffs.
That rules.
Yeah, this isn't that game. That's not how this is.
No, it's not.
End up to a fast start in these.
My oldest league, I am in the first round of the playoffs. My oldest running league, it's one of the only head-to-heads because we have all the sprints. So we're going to talk about some of the sprints and stuff and the high-stakes stuff, but it's one of my only head-to-heads for tonight or for this week, and it does have Austin Eckler on it. So he caught a pass on that first 3 and out, and I was already like, all right, got some Austin Eckler points there. I'm hoping for the 30 that you mentioned from Vincent.
I just pulled it up because I was curious. Vincent Jackson. What is this date? December 16th, 2010, went for 3 tutties.
Nice.
There, the good old days there. 112 yards and 3 tutties to open up fantasy playoff weekend.
That's beautiful.
That's pretty good. That's a good.
The flip side of that's the worst. You play all year, you get to the playoffs, and then you have to face Vincent Jackson going 110 and 3 tutties on Thursday Night Football. You're like, all right, cool, my season's over. That was fun.
Seriously. Do you guys if you're in a home league type stuff, one of the ways I do the Dynasty League that I commission is I do the playoffs like Survivor style. So there's still the 2 buys, but then the 4 wildcard teams, it's just collectively the top 2 teams advance by points. So it's not like a head-to-head individual thing. And I've really liked that kind of smoothing it out a bit. And same thing for the semis. The top 2 teams advance by scoring. The matchup doesn't matter.
Love that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm in a league where I'm in some dynasty leagues where it's the top 4 teams make the playoffs, and then it's just whoever scores the most points over the final 3 weeks of those 4 teams. Which
That's fun too.
Yeah, I think it's
was
pretty
trying
fun.
to middle it because people still do like kind of the head-to-head element, but just like true head-to-head sucks.
I mean, because you're talking about 2 matchups.
Yes.
And specifically when it's the playoffs and it all comes down to these matchups, the only way that your way is any different than a normal week is if the top 2 play each other and the bottom 2 play each other. And really no one thinks that's like legit. Like, no. I mean, that's the worst. Like if you get the second highest score, but you happen to play against the highest score, especially if it's like the semis and you got to bye and you just like the wild card team that advances the top scoring team, but you're the second highest scoring team, you beat the other bye and you beat, the other team that advanced, you're like, this blows.
Yeah, it's super frustrating. You're like, yeah.
So I like the way you do it, Pete. I think that makes a lot of sense.
All right, let's set up our sweats for tonight. This is again probably the least amount of enthusiasm or commentary on who we dialed up. It's just like
I think by far the least. I think by far. He floated a kicker. It made the core.
With no pushback.
No pushback. We immediately slotted into the core. Yeah. I floated this Davante Adams rivals move. We settled on the right rival. We both liked Gerald Everett. Pete floated Easton Stick's rushing, citing some college numbers that I hope he was right about because I never checked them. And I was like, that sounds good. And then Ben came in and was like, hey, sorry, just got done with stealing bananas, but this sounds great. See you on the show.
I was like, I'm really glad I don't have to look at this game.
Well, and I've been trying to like figure it out of why. I mean, obviously a better game is more fun, but I think when we were doing pick'ems earlier in the year, when guys are healthier, we have both quarterbacks, is like you can play out a certain game scenario and tell yourself this fun story and then root for that. When you're doing this, you just kind of feel like you're Indiana Jones, like dodging all of these obstacles. And it's just like, this thing might happen, but this not. And it's just like, this isn't fun. Like, no. I don't like these games.
The only vague thing that popped up for me was Eckler's receiving, because Stick did seem to check down a lot, but it was like juice way up too. That was like the only player that like matters. And it was like 4.5. His completions were 19. And Eckler's was 4.5, his receptions. So it was like, okay, he has to catch, a quarter of his passes, of his completions? I mean, that's like, as the running back.
The first thing I went to was to see if we could do anything with the Raiders running game. But Josh Jacobs hadn't been declared out yet. It seemed like very likely he would be, but he hadn't yet. So they didn't have anything up. So that also kind of took away an angle that I liked on the game.
So we got Easton Stick rushing, we got Cameron Dicker kicking. That's how you wind up here.
They did end up putting Zamir White in the lobby. We had already locked our stuff. Also, we dodged another bullet last week with Parker because I was gonna float an under on Donald Parham because the Raiders have been good against tight ends. We were already kind of gonna be under on Everett. Well, Parham ended up getting scratched, so I'm really good we did not include him in the core.
We had one. What is the payout on one?
Down to 1.
Oh,
I don't even know. They're just like,
we had a core get scratched last week too. That would have been a tough one 2 weeks in a row. So we have a core that's stuck together this week. We got that going for us.
Oh, for some reason I added Parham to the Parker one in my mind. That's why I was talking about the one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think the Zamir number that I saw was like 60.5 rushing yards, which seemed pretty healthy. Go. And also, Davante cooking. Let's go.
Let's go. There we go. Starting that rivals there off pretty nice.
Yeah.
So the idea of the rivals, right? We liked some of the unders on the passing stuff for the Chargers, but it's not a very fun sweat to take under Gerald Everett 29.5 yards. That's just a brutal sweat. So what the rivals works out to based on Davante Adams' line, which was 69.5, right? So you take the adjustment, you remove the adjustment, that leaves 27. So it's like it's a lower under that you're getting on Everett, 27 instead of 29.5 or 28.5, I think it was. But you're basically like paying 1.5 yards for the upside of Adams to like really clear this adjustment. I think so. Like of the two players, Adams clearly has he's the guy who'd go for a lot of yards.
And Everett this season has been so TD or bust. He hasn't cleared 50 yards receiving all game. So my thought all year was even if he has like a decent game, like a 40, 45 yard game, Adams can still get there with just a pretty okay game.
He's already at 32 on this first drive on the 2 catches. They just showed that. The chat also noticed this, the ones that are watching the game. They just ran a little out pattern to Jacoby Myers. The DB just tackled Myers. The refs were like, we don't care about this game either. We're not throwing a flag. That was the biggest DPI I've ever seen. And an isolation route, like a very clear out pattern. He just hooks his back shoulder. Like that's 100% of the time a penalty. I don't even know what I just watched. So funny.
Pat floated one of the linebackers, and I'm like, I'm sure it's sharp, but it's just not a fun sweat.
So Eric Kendricks, we looked at, or I looked at, I guess, and he didn't strike me as all that fun. I mean, he didn't get there last week when they were losing.
Mayor?
Yeah,
that's Mayor, baby.
Let's go
down to the 2.
I should pull up our 5-leg, which includes
Mayor.
Yeah.
It's Mayor and O'Connell.
Yeah, so the 5-leg, obviously the same as the core.
O'Connell is cooking for that.
Yeah.
For 203. He's already at he's already at least 50. I want to say maybe 60 on this drive.
Yes. And so what am I doing here? O'Connell, 203.5 passing yards. We took the higher correlated with Michael Mayer over 19.5. I mean, Mayer had cleared this number really easily the 2 weeks previous to the insane game against the Vikings, which I feel like you can kind of just throw out from a splits perspective just because it was a historically low scoring game. So I kind of like how this is shaping up from a correlation angle.
I got another funny.
Yeah, me too.
No one cares. Another funny. No one cares about this game thing. If you go to ESPN, I'm still an ESPN box score donkey, probably because my main fantasy leagues have been on there for so many years. They don't even have the box score up yet. I've never seen this. We're 7 minutes into the game. They don't have the stats started yet. They the guy working the page is asleep.
I really like ESPN for their schedule page. I think that's really nice. But I've been going to Yahoo for my box scores recently.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I use the Yahoo app for my box scores. Although it was tweaking the other day when I was in Miami on Sunday, checking the scores, and it was showing the entire season box scores for every player, like how many yards they had.
Really?
Yeah.
Just to note on kind of the game that we envisioned here, right? Because normally you take 3 pass catchers and the quarterback. That's like a shootout script. So you'd want to bring guys along on the other side. But this is not these numbers were so low that it was basically the Raiders are okay and the Chargers are horrible. That's right. The game we're playing. And we could have added on some Zamir White stuff. I would have liked to do that, but we was too early, like I said. So we had to play it through the passing game. So it's not like we were against playing this through the running game as well, but that just wasn't really available to us.
I kind of like how it correlates too. If the Raiders get out to a big lead, that really starts to lower Cameron Dicker's, kicking points. Not that Staley could play scared, but it's if they're down 2 touchdowns or something, you can't just
kicker in the core is so sick, man.
Hey.
And I don't mean sick good. I mean,
well, I looked at that one and I went and double checked the team total. I'm like, they have a 15.75 team total. Dicker hasn't cleared this in 3 games. And that was with Justin Herbert at quarterback. And now they're road dogs with a 15-point team total. It's come on.
No, this is beautiful.
I love it. It's just crazy that it's in the core, the kicker prop. It's what are we doing?
How about this? If I would have showed you a screenshot of our core, back when we were talking with Underdog in August about doing this show, and if I said this is going to be your core on Thursday night, December, would you have said, all right, let's just not do this whole thing?
Yes. Yes. I would have said, what week? Is it week 13, week 14? You're like, no, this is the first week of the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah.
We're done.
No.
I'm out.
I'm out on this whole season.
Out on this whole idea. Something went horribly wrong for us. Because what I would have thought is like, man, we've been missing every pick, so now we're down to just like doing kicker props because we can't get anything right. Like that's what.
Oh god, that's true.
Oh man, and then
Yeah,
just
How
the fact
much
that
giveaway do we have tonight? By the way,
200. We got it 2 weeks ago. That was the week where we were so close to everything. I think it was Rico Dowdle. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rico Dowdle then had a really nice game last week, so we were just a week early on the Rico Dowdle for all the money.
That was brutal because that was like 4 different. The halftime ones were dependent on him. Everything was dependent on Rico Dowdle. We could have brought in, and then I rang the bell anyway. We did hit our core that night. Just that was the only thing we hit. We had like 6 things live.
Yeah, because we're men of the people. All right,
That's
this
right.
is a fun game because the chat's all talking about Zamir White. You know, what if he's the guy you need here? I'm pulling up our guy Patrick's BBMDB leaderboard here. How many Zamir White teams do you think there are that advanced to the Bestball Mania playoffs? And I'll tell you this.
How many teams advanced?
Yeah, first of all, I'll tell you how many shares of him were drafted. 38,709 Zamir White teams.
Okay,
were drafted.
38,000.
And how many teams advanced?
Yeah,
Total.
Exactly. Like, how many shares are you competing with if you show up with a Zamir White? No cheating if you're in the chat and already looked this up. I'm gonna guess 690.
How many?
I'm gonna say with 38,000 teams.
Here, I'll give you one more benchmark. I will tell you how many Raheem Mostert shares there are because he was like the playoff
that's great.
winner. Raheem Mostert, I'm refreshing here. Come on, is on 24,051, and he was drafted in nearly 100% of contests, so 56,442 total shares of Mostert. Almost 42% of those advanced, 24,051 Mostert. So how many Zamir White shares do you think there are?
And for Zamir, there's 56,000 that were drafted total for Mostert. You said there was like 35 for Zamir?
Yes. So he was not drafted in every
Never
draft.
tackle him. Never got some yards.
I'll say there's 4,500 Zamir teams.
You said 25,000 for Mostert?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I thought there was 35,000 Zamir teams drafted.
Correct. And
25,000
vote. There's two.
Oh,
numbers.
25
How many
advanced.
drafted and how many advanced?
Okay,
sorry.
Yes. Sorry.
There were
Okay.
almost as many Mostert teams that advanced as there were Zamir White shares
Got it.
drafted.
All right. I understand. 4,500 is my guess.
I'm going to say... I'll say 3,000.
All right. You guys are in very close proximity. The chat is way under here. There are 4,818 Zamir White shares.
Wow, good guess, Pat.
Yeah.
You were like 300 away.
Yes.
Well, I just gave it a 12% advance rate. I was like,
exactly. 12.4%.
It's not going to tank your team. What was his actual advance rate?
12.4.
Well, it was 12.4. Yeah.
So
there's the sack in
it's
the
not going
fumble.
to tank your team. It's not helping.
Raiders recover. Beautiful.
Raiders got it. Wow.
Let's see how many shares I have. I want to say I took him a couple times. Oh, 0 of 8. Couldn't get a Zamir White team through.
No.
What a fish.
You were third and 8 points behind. Click on that one that was in third right there. We got to see how close you got.
Me like this?
Yes, we got it.
Oh,
Kirk Cousins.
Oh,
and this team's good otherwise. You got Purdy, you got Laporta and Hawkinson at tight end.
Dude, if this isn't one of my best ball breakfast rooms, I don't know what is. Walker at 6'4", Sanders at 7'9", Montgomery at 8'4".
This team,
Piss Boys did this to me.
Yeah.
Damn, Kirk in the 10th.
You got DJ Moore, Debo, Adams, AJ Brown. You got 2 really good tight ends. If Kirk stays healthy, this team actually has legs, like legit legs.
Gretchen's roster baiting over one of my
To
phones.
a dead BBM team.
Guys, this is my first time actually like monitoring this stuff because I drafted 100 teams this year and it's a whirlwind. Like I know about the redacted bit from last year where it was like, don't do this. And it was like from the year prior, everyone, I'm 2 years behind. I'm doing the year prior thing.
Yeah.
I'm roster baiting about 10 teams.
It's fucked up, dude.
Yeah. Speaking about roster baiting, we should talk about a couple of our high stakes teams. I know we'll get into some more of those with Steph on the overall portfolio.
To be clear, our advancing high stakes teams.
Advancing.
Yeah.
I did a little roundup for my newsletter tomorrow, and Steph had done a roundup too, but I mean, just an awesome year for us on the whole. We had 7 total main event teams, and we have 3 league titles and a second place out of that. Primetime 4 teams, 1 league title and a second place, won the $2,500 Super League with Leone, in 3rd place in the Silver Bullet. I mean, an insane year across our high stakes portfolio.
Yeah. Really cool.
Seriously. And then what do we have in the Leone? What's at stake for us in the next 3 weeks with the Leone League?
I believe
Some
it's
money.
$14K at the top for the
Yeah.
one. We did drop down to the $2,500 buy-in. The last couple of years it's been 5 and 10Ks. I think it's $14K for first place. We swept the regular season for that, points and record for $2,500 each for 5K total, and then have a shot at $14K more for
Mayor
19K
again?
total. That is Mayor again. I think he's over. Wasn't it 19? He's already over his 19.
19 and a half. Yeah, he must have got there.
Yeah.
He's at 23, so that hit.
Boom.
So yeah, we got good stuff happening there. Good stuff happening across the portfolio. One of the things I mentioned to you guys that I kind of want to talk about, and I've kind of hit on this a little bit, like thought through it in past years, but I've never really been able to articulate it particularly well. But it's the sprint for anyone who's actually
AOC.
He bobbled it. He bobbled it. That's gonna get overturned on review.
No, he got it back. I think he got the feet back in.
I don't think he did. We'll see. But the 3-week sprint is really unique. And I think part of the reason what I'm going to talk about, Destiny talked about a lot, is most of it is the high stakes grinders. A lot of them don't do a ton of content or share a lot of their ideas. There's not, I don't think, it's not a huge contest. We got to get the other angle. It leaks out there.
Okay.
Oh, is that?
Did he? Man, he might not have dragged that second
good.
foot.
I think he's good.
That one
he gathers while he still has his foot down for a split. It's only a split second.
He might have still had that down. Yeah, I mean, I was worried because he definitely didn't drag.
He didn't drag, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he had his foot here. This angle is show one.
Oh, it's so close.
Yeah, he got it. They need to freeze it.
Oh, it's so close.
Yeah.
Oh.
He doesn't drag.
Forgot to mow the lawn in the end zone there.
They need to read.
It's when you just, I think he had it with his foot down.
This is where I'm at. I think by the letter of the law, it's not a catch, but they should give it to him.
No, he was still dragging it. I think Pat's right. It was still kind of his toe. When he lifted that back foot on that last angle, his toe hit because you saw his foot kind of wobble.
Yeah.
I think that actually was.
He kind of like tapped his toe for a second, and I think it was after he gathered it.
All right, let's get back on track, Gretchen. What were you talking about with?
Let's get back on track. He said, as they talked about the game.
No one cares.
We're talking about
It's a great point.
AOC's going for 300 no matter what. We're fine.
So the idea is it's a 3-week sprint. You don't have this opportunity in other formats. And we all know about the ideas of getting unique and of having, contrarian levers to pull in those things from DFS, from Bestball. There's all of these things. I've often tried to compare this to DFS. I don't think I've done a good job. What I thought about this year was what you guys have done such great work on with Bestball. Pete, obviously you doing all the week 17 work. Pat, I remembered your piece where you're like, you want to wake up like you're in week 17. And the idea of you got to draft like you're right, and you have to think like you get all of these things right. And I'll go back to the year that these thoughts all sort of formulated for me. And this isn't like to brag, but that's what I'm most intimately knowledgeable about is the year that I got 19th in 2020. I had Diggs and Kamara, and they became the guys you needed. And before Kamara had the 6 TD game it was week 16 then, but it was the final week. It was all Henry teams at the top, Derrick Henry. And then Kamara has a 6 TD game, and all the Kamara teams went to the top. And that was on Thursday Night Football. And so then on Saturday, I convinced my co-managers. We sat rookie J.K. Dobbins, who had been really good and had been our last flex the first 2 weeks, 15 and 16, for Jeff Wilson, who like no one had. We picked him up on the last waiver run. This was also the 2 kicker year. He's the guy we picked up instead of a second kicker. We started him in week 16 intentionally because a lot of the other Kamara teams that were near the top had J.K. Dobbins, even though Dobbins clearly projected for more, because you could tell yourself a story based on what Wilson was facing that week, that he could be the guy. He had like a 27-point game. Dobbins had like a 13-point game. That, in addition to Kamara and Diggs hitting, propelled us into the top 20. And so the idea is if you plan for waking up and you're right, and your main core guys are the Kamara and Diggs, guys you had to have, that the ancillary pieces, it's actually a game theory flaw to think you're going to start the same lineup all 3 weeks, because you're not pulling levers on other people. As if you have adequate depth, if you have good players on your bench that you can actually make these moves with, because somebody else might have the Diggs, Kamara, and the Dobbins, right? There were other teams that had those 3. You're not contrary, but if you make a contrarian lineup spot that is 2 weeks of Dobbins and 1 week of Jeff Wilson, that's not a lever anyone else can pull, right? And if you get that right, you do have to get a lot of things right, obviously. They let the touchdown stand. But if you pull that lever intentionally, play a guy that is even you think doesn't score as well, but because of it allows you a unique differentiation that you can't get in any other kind of fantasy contest. The ability to Frankenstein a roster position across 3 weeks. It's like in DFS, if halfway through a game, you're at the top and everyone in the top 10 has a guy who scored 3 TDs in the first half, and you could switch out for his teammate for the second half of that game, like in the afternoon window. And I mean, it's a really unique thing in these 3 week sprints, but we have that one team from our mini-sodes that we've talked a lot about that's awesome. It has 7 really good receivers. And I was telling you guys, I think as we go through this 3 week sprint, we should intentionally not start the same 4 receivers all 3 weeks. Whatever, decisions we make, we should make it a point to try to accurately pick the spike weeks.
Yeah.
We might be wrong, but if you get that right, then no one else who had those players that went off can match what you actually did with those high scores when you get the puzzle pieces right as well. You have something very unique.
We have CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and DK Metcalf. Now, we also have Jordan Addison and Deontay Johnson. You could maybe,
Yeah, they're less. I guess
those guys are a tier below. Yeah. But I think the Metcalf part of it, that's our lever, I think, is Metcalf. When do we start Metcalf? We should start Metcalf at least once during this 3 weeks, because he's got a big ceiling. And then what we probably would want to do, and this gives me a little bit of anxiety, but
we probably want to start him this week. It's the nut matchup.
Right. So we probably want to bench a 49er.
We have to get the 49er call correct is what you have to do.
And oh man, I've
It's really hard to do, and I like
Brett. Shut up. This sucks.
I really like the way we played it in the regular season. Pete, you were the one who really drove it early on, and it was such a great call because the Niners are going to score, and it's great for regular season and for getting where we want to go to have both those guys in the lineup. It's the floor. One of them is going to do well, and the ceiling is last week. They both had over 125 yards. They were awesome together, but to differentiate from people who have like Purdy double stacks, right? We probably should sit one of them and hope that's the one of 3 weeks they have a bad week and hit on a DK Metcalf. Although this is a great matchup for them too. This is the week where they roll against Arizona.
Yeah,
right?
they're gonna roll the Cardinals. So
to me, I think I agree with everything you're saying, and I think it's a really, really sharp way to think these through. My kind of 2 comments onto that were you apply this level of game theory, you ratchet it up each week, right? Because then you have more information with what your opponents have, and you apply that. And then the other thing would be is that I think you could extend it almost even to kind of the running back stuff, right? Where it's basically like you said, for DFS, if I told you two guys project exactly the same and one was going to be rostered 50% and the other was going to be rostered 5, you would play the 5% guy every single time. And so I do think there's some of these spots like this of like, I don't know, like I'm not saying to bench Raheem Mostert, but I'm just saying if him and Jalen Warren projected identically in this example, and every single team who showed up to the playoffs had Raheem Mostert, like that would be a spot you would play Jalen Warren because you could handicap a large chunk of the field in those events where Mostert has a down game.
And to your point about waiting to pull the lever, I think it's a great point because what we'll get information as well is not just who all showed up to the playoffs with the teams, but who are the contending teams. If we're right through the 15 and 16, but Mostert scored really well for those 2 weeks, we'll be sitting there looking at Mostert on a lot of those teams or scored decently, right? Like not so well that we can't justify benching him because I don't think you want to bench your stars. I mean, that's just wrong probably, but there are scenarios where you can look at it and go, like the J.K. Dobbins one's a good one. He was a rookie running back who came on late and had a couple solid games. And so he was definitely littering those top teams. He was up there. People who had Dobbins because he had been giving us some running back points, but he also was justifiably benchable. And he had like I still remember he had 13 points that week. And it was like, that's what we thought was the risk, so to speak, was that he didn't have like a huge ceiling. And it was worth going after the ceiling on the Wilson play, and he had like 27 or something. And, you get this big gap. And it helped us pass several Dobbins teams, like a handful of teams.
On this team, it won't be this week, but Chase Brown's that Jeff Wilson lever,
man.
if we get it.
God, he's a fun piece to have on these for the spring.
Yes, he's a huge lever to pull in week 17.
If we need to put Chase Brown in over Mostert in week 17 or something, I'm game.
So I do think I am going to push. Oh wow!
Oh,
he is dealing.
Damn.
Steph, did you play him? Steph's in the chat. She was thinking about
Steph's gonna go crazy here.
I think she played him because a second ago she was saying she cared about that DPI.
Yeah. Let's go. What I was gonna say.
Not this week. I gave you bad advice on that.
What I was gonna say is the other thing to remember, and now this is kind of going, not saying to not pull the uniqueness levers. This is almost a separate conversation of not setting your lineup scared. Like we know how top heavy this contest is, right? We know how thin the margins are. Like every point is going to matter. And Debo and Ayuk in their 95th percentile outcomes are negatively correlated. We've seen these massive Debo games result into relatively down games for Brandon Ayuk. And like, we're going to need near perfection to win $1 million here and like nailing the correct Niners wide receiver while DK Metcalf does what he did on Thursday night a few weeks back. Like that's how you build that juggernaut. We're in the regular season in a head-to-head. Just give me the concentrated bet on the Niners. I'll take those 45 points however I can get them. But in this sprint, I want the 30 ball from both guys.
Yeah. And so the one thing that counter argues the point about waiting to get more information is I do think if you go to the end of it and you look back, the point about it's probably suboptimal to play the same lineup all 3 weeks. So if we don't actively decide to do DK in week 17, regardless, like if we're waiting and then making a decision later, then one of our options is playing the same lineup the whole 3 weeks. So it's almost like from the beginning, you should be deciding what is the week that you're not going to play the same lineup. Like we can see all the although there could be injuries, there could be other things that, in like, there's other reasons to not do it week 15 because it could like Ayuk could get banged up in week 16 and then it makes our decision for us in week 17, right? He could have 2 great games, get hurt late week 16, and it naturally happens for us to just play DK over Ayuk in week 17. And everyone else who had 2 great games from Ayuk that's near the top don't get him in week 17, right? Like there are, so I mean, it's a kind of a mind fuck to think through how to actually apply it. But I do feel from a game theory standpoint that it's pretty clear that when you have depth like we do, you want to utilize it.
You want to utilize it, and I think that the best way to apply it, like if Geno Smith is back, especially, and then we've got DK Metcalf in a matchup with this pass funnel Eagles defense, like, and we know we probably want to try to, because DK Metcalf, I don't know his advance rate off the top of my head for this, but like it can't be like as high as Debo and Ayuk's. So this, I mean, it's not like, I don't think you'd want to be overthinking it, but at the same time, if you have a really high upside player who you drafted really highly and is really good, like DK Metcalf, and a good matchup, and you feel like, I'd still rather start both of the 49ers guys, which is how I feel. It's like fighting that maybe, and at least thinking through like, well, is this going to lead to a situation where I end up starting both 49ers wide receivers for 3 straight weeks, and the odds that they both are the guys you need over a 3-week period isn't that high.
Right. And there'll be other teams that will be there with you if they do. But if we bench,
not a ton of teams would have both, I would say, right? Like it's probably an advantage for us to have both if we can capture them both going off like once. Like ideally we get that once, we correctly pick which one it is a couple other times.
I bet a lot of people didn't stack it, but I bet of the people who did, a good amount made it. Because that would have been a good strong, and you probably went Purdy too in most cases, which we almost did. We were going to, but we had other QB, values that became available for us. That is funny to think back through as well, though, because Purdy was like a whole part of our plans, and then we got Tua like 2 rounds behind ADP, and Geno like 4 rounds behind ADP, and they were both stacked too. Or no, Tua wasn't stacked. We took Tua unstacked.
You can see here in the projections. Debo.
It's a good thing we got Tua, because Tua got us on Mostert.
Yeah, that's true.
Team level correlation can work out that way.
Oh yeah.
I was just looking at the early projections. Leone's got Debo 15.3, Ayuk 15, and DK Metcalf 14. So yeah, we'll have some interesting.
It's gonna be
Does he have AJ Brown and CeeDee Lamb at?
He has those two as 1-2 on the week.
You like to see that.
21.4 for Lamb, 19.7 for AJ Brown.
You like to see that.
The other thing too, to your point, like you think about, what a massive advance rate guy Tyreek Hill is in this contest. Like if he, it seems like he'll probably gut it out and play, but injury, tough matchup. Like if you get a muted Tyreek Hill week, that could be pretty good. God, Gerald Everett's a dust ball, catches it, fumbles it. But yeah, I think it's some really fun stuff to think through, and a luxury to have such firepower at wide receiver.
We have a team that has so many good options that it's easy to apply this concept and think about it. I also think, and I think it's probably more the case when you don't have a good team, to intentionally do this, or you have a weak roster spot and it's the last flex. And if you get a hit in that last flex for week 15, it's hard to then sit them for week 16. You're telling yourself, oh, now we found something. We found lightning in a bottle. We needed this last flex to be good. But it's probably the case that you want to go away from that player the very next week, because anyone else who has that player also did well that week. And your team's maybe not good enough otherwise to get there. So you're trying to catch lightning in a bottle when your team's weaker. It's a little different when your team's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'll just be so much easier to look through the scoreboard after this week and see who you're chasing. And we should also check the overall kind of like roster ownership percentages. Like to me, if it was something crazy, like, I don't know, Debo was on 35% advancing teams and DK Metcalf was on like 10%. To me, I would be willing to sacrifice, a point in projection.
Yeah, that's one of the ways to do it too, right? If Ayuk is maybe way less owned than Debo.
Yeah.
Then that would be a reason to just be like, well, if we're pulling this lever, maybe we just pull it on the guy.
And I'm telling you, we're not going to like the spot for Metcalf as good as we like it here. I mean, at home versus, literally the worst secondary in football, right?
Yeah, and team you have to pass on a lot as well.
The only potential counter there is Geno cleared? It might be Drew Lock, and then we might actually get
right. I thought I said Geno was back at practice today.
Okay.
I got to double check that, but I thought I saw that.
Because with Locke, he did have a long TD with Locke. Yeah. He had a long TD with Locke, but he only had 2 catches in that game last week.
No, you feel way better if it's Geno.
He got in a limited practice today, had full pads going.
They're talking about it being a 2-week injury, and it happened on like Thursday of last week. So apparently it's only a 1-week injury, though. This game, it's just going to be a disaster. The Raiders came out gunning. Kind of love it. 21 in the first quarter.
So this Gerald Everett thing is already super annoying.
I know.
I wish because we talked about doing it with Quentin Johnston. It was kind of a coin flip, and we were like, I guess Everett. But the good news is this: you already would have lost it if it was the under.
I know. That's why the solo under was just. Whereas all we need is like one bomb from Adams, and it already flips it back.
Right.
But it's not ideal. I'll pull it up here. It's at.
And game script wise, 70. It's annoying. Adams is.
He has 26.5, right? Yeah.
Adams getting to 31 in the first quarter. You're like, man, this is 150-yard game potentially. And then, but they're up 21-0 is the issue,
Yeah. What we need is that Easton Stick 75-yard rushing touchdown. Just channeling Lamar Jackson.
Guys, I have a decent clip of Jacoby Myers advancing.
Nice.
Do you?
5 of my 26 advancing teams have Jacoby.
Nice. Should check mine.
Yeah, he was pretty key. If you're taking a receiver in that spot, especially the way that you draft, Pat, it probably means you didn't allocate as much receivers to that window from like round 5 to round 9 that didn't really hit. None of those upside guys hit. And you did probably allocate it to some of those running backs who were hitting, A lot of those teams probably have some good running backs, maybe a good QB, even an elite QB.
Yeah, that's exactly. My best one, this is the one that finished top 1,000 in the tournament. It has Hurts and AJ Brown, but then it has a CJ Stroud backdoor stack with Tank Dell and Nico Collins, which stings. But it also has Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. So hopefully they can get there together in this new.
The one I don't have as many as you. I have only 2 of 8 of my Jacoby, but I just noticed this is one of my teams with Sean, and this is like the uber low advance rate team. This is the team that Liam would get just hard for. Cup, Higgins, Dotson, Pickens, Freiermuth, and then it also has all the fun guys coming on: Cook, Achane, Spears, Chase Brown,
and Chase Brown.
Yeah, wow. The Ramondre stings, but and obviously Pickett. But I think with Purdy and Howell, you're fine. It's a pretty fun. Like nobody has this collection of guys.
No, that's great.
I found a fun Jacoby one. It's an Anthony Richardson team, but it's got Dak. It's hyper fragile with CMC, Tony Pollard, Breece Hall, and Kendre Miller. So it's super hyper fragile.
Come on, Kendre. What?
It's 4 tight end build: Laporta, Taysom, Mayer, and Woods. It's up there.
The Ringer's Danny Kelly. If you're wondering how this companion stream going, we are reviewing our best ball teams.
I love it. That's like the best kind of content, right? Just talking about your fantasy teams.
People love it.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard. They're big fans.
By people, it means us.
Yeah, I mean, and you have so many fantasy teams to talk about. I mean, I saw a screenshot of you had 12 teams in one league. Is that true, Dan?
Yeah. So this, for people that don't know, I was moaning about how in fantasy leagues when people don't have like their real names as their team name. I'm like the one person who doesn't like funny pun names in fantasy leagues because I don't know who I'm ever dealing with or like trading with or trying to figure out who I'm playing. And all my great coworkers decided to just troll me by everyone is now Danny Kelly or some version of Danny Kelly in the league. And so you literally have no idea who you're playing at any given time. I've talked to like
which one of these is you? Can you?
I'm in 6th. I'm the real Danny Kelly.
Okay.
I snuck.
I like how you're not Danny Kelly. I mean, that would have been my guess.
I know someone stole. I think that was maybe Solak stole my like photo from the Ringer, which hasn't been updated since like 2016. That was when I had hair back then. But yeah, so it's super annoying because you literally never know who you're playing unless you're playing Kiara. So
Two Danny, two Kelly.
The last four names are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I love all.
Danny, if you ever need a content idea, Jack is screaming. I would watch Danny Kelly talk about all 34 of his dynasty teams all day. You want to do that podcast?
That's my boy. That's my boy Jack. He's on our team at the Ringer. Yes, I would love to talk about it. Heifetz always scolds me if I'm talking about Dynasty too much because it's just a little in the weeds, especially when I'm in like 20 leagues. But yeah, love Dynasty. Dynasty is like my number one thing.
There you go. Are you getting hyped for this draft class coming up?
Oh yeah, super exciting. It feels like there's going to be 1 million receivers in this next class.
Not many running backs, right?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be like. It doesn't seem like there's going to be any first round running backs in either the real draft or in Dynasty rookie drafts potentially.
Arthur Smith says,
it's not like we
your
desperately
mouth and
need
watch him.
How dare you, sir? He actually would do that if we were saying that. He's just like wants to go against the grain. He wants to go against fantasy bros. He's just wants to piss us off. But yeah, like elite tight end Brock Bowers in theory, as long as he doesn't go the Falcons, and then 3 or 4 quarterbacks maybe, and then a bunch of receivers that I think are going to be really good. I already love like 3 or 4 of these guys in the receiver position.
I want to talk more about that, but what are the odds that Arthur Smith gets fired? What's your it's like the only thing I want from this year.
I know. I don't know.
All I want for Christmas is somebody to lose their job.
It doesn't feel like they're going to fire him because it's not. I feel like he's not going to get blamed for having bad quarterback play. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He's been kind of given this situation with bad quarterbacks, and he's done the best that he could. I think this is what like the GM or whoever's going to be telling themselves about the situation. Even though if I'm the GM of that team, I'm curious very much like what the dynamic is there. It's like, dude, I got you Drake London, I got you Kyle Pitts, I got you Bijan Robinson, and you just absolutely, it's almost like you're trolling me. You don't use them as much as you like. What do we do? Like it seems from the outside looking in, like there's just this massive disconnect. But maybe there's not. I don't know. Like I haven't heard any rumblings of him getting fired, but obviously, like from a fantasy point of view, it would be pretty sweet.
Arthur Smith's like answering that conversation. He's like, dude, you got me the best player. They're the best decoys. Everyone thinks the ball is going to. You did your job so well. Everyone wants to guard him, and I can throw to Jonnu Smith. It's amazing.
Are we sure we want Arthur Smith to be fired? And I know the reasons because I kind of do want him to be fired. But where does Justin Fields go next year? Because him going to the Falcons is actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like they would run the ball with him. Like they love running the ball. Like
wait, what did Justin Fields going to Atlanta have to do with Arthur Smith?
It could do without Arthur Smith.
Because my thing with Fields is that most of these coaching staffs, they're like, cool, you're doing great. You're really running the ball well. You're hitting throws downfield. Now, this week we're going to try putting you in a West Coast drop back offense and don't run. Right. It's like, I mean, just like I'm so sick of that. I just want a coach who wants to run a Justin Fields type offense. And I think Arthur Smith does.
Yeah. That would be like a really nice consolation prize if he does stay. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's like, at least I would be able to use all of my Justin Fields shares finally. Actually, I'm like getting very optimistic about him again. I'd like the course of the season, I feel is like a roller coaster ride a little bit with Fields because there was a time there in the beginning where it looked pretty freaking bleak. Like I was like, man, I took him like 3rd in drafts. Like, I'm just like starting to really realize this is like a potential huge bust. But I don't know. It feels like he's got some momentum now and he's like starting to finally look a little bit like the guy that was at Ohio State in terms of a passer. So I'm kind of starting.
And for the second year in a row, he starts really poorly, and then the fantasy scoring just comes like in waves. Like it really improves.
He has a really high weekly ceiling.
Yeah.
Both times it was because they didn't use him on design runs early in the year, and then they just like started using him on design runs. Like you can just go look at his PFF game log as design runs, and it's way better. I mean, it opens everything else up, obviously. Yeah, no, of course.
This has been like my contention, and I have never played quarterback in the NFL, but
what? We got catfish.
Why do we bring him on?
QB,
No,
Danny
I'm not Colt McCoy. But yeah, no, I think it's like the way I look at it, the way I kind of envision it is like sort of, you know how you get like a streaky shooter, like a few layups, a few free throws or whatever, and then they can start to like settle down instead of coming off the bench and chucking up threes and just bricking the first one. Then you never get like in a rhythm. That's how I feel like the Bears wanted to use Fields. And Pat, maybe you mentioned it's like come in and just run like a West Coast offense, like don't run. Like, why are you doing this? Like, give him some opportunities to get in the flow of the game, run around a little bit, get the juices flowing, get the confidence of the teammates around you, get some explosive plays. You're way more likely to score a touchdown on a series or drive where you have an explosive play. Like, there's no reason not to run. I guess the only reason that I do get a little bit nervous with Fields is he just seems to get clobbered like 2 or 3 times a game where it looks like he's, going to have to go to the hospital. He gets like hit so hard at times, and it's not always on design.
He also takes bad sacks.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I understand from like the coaching point of view, not wanting him to get hurt, but I mean, I feel like at this point, he's proven or shown so far that he's not going to be like a drop back passer, at least not yet. And so, do this thing where you can get him in the flow of the game and get him confident, get the teammates like amped up, get the defense amped up. It's like, it's just good for everybody. And so, yeah, it's drives me nuts.
One of the things that's strange to me is like you see this with the way teams are run where these teams are not like teams, they're people that are running the teams, and the people are acting in their own best interest. And you see that a lot with the way the teams are run. But sometimes with the coaches, I'm like, you guys should really be acting in your own best interest more. Like, you're not going to win a ton of games with Justin Fields as a drop back passer. So throw your system out and just be like, I'm going to run this dude as many times as I can get away with. And like, if he gets like, I'm probably getting fired no matter what. So like, why don't I just run this guy? And I don't know. Teams don't really tend to do that.
I mean, it's mystifying to me sometimes. Like, I truly like don't know what the plan is. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you watch these teams and it's like, it took him like a half a season or a season and a half to figure out that Justin Fields is like fast. Like, what did you see at practice? Like, was he just not running around ever? Like, did you never see him run? I kind of have like this joke on our podcast that like outside of Tyreek Hill, and science is probably not going to back me up on this, but like Justin Fields is the fastest player in the NFL.
Like, he's so dynamic when he actually runs. How do you not see that in practice? It's crazy.
He's just insanely fast. Like it's like a muscle car,
I took his full season rushing yards under, and he missed some games, and you're like, all right, you're going to win it. And then he came back running, and you're like, you're going to lose this. Like, he's going to do it in like 10 games. Like he gets loose, and
he had like 18 rushes the other day, I think.
Yeah.
So that's
crazy.
Awesome to see, obviously, from a fantasy point of view. But like, again, I think it's good for him developing overall too. Like, I think it's honestly all good stuff for him just because, confidence is such a big part of quarterback.
So Danny, if you weren't coming on the show tonight, what would your Thursday night look like? Would you be parked in front of the TV watching this game? What would you be doing?
No. So the joys, the benefits of the technological era that we live in is I like switch between my laptop and my phone as I cook dinner and hang out with my 4-year-old and walk around my house and do chores and like take out the recycling and do all this like other BS that like I can't park myself in front of a TV like when my kid is around. It just doesn't really work. So I just like switch between my devices. It's actually kind of sweet. Like, this is a new era. I'll like have the game on my TV, my computer, and my phone like all at the same time. It's pretty sweet.
But what I heard is that you weren't going to miss an Easton Stick drop back under any.
No, not at all.
Easton Stick on every screen.
I desperately wanted to see the Chargers' second and third string running backs and see what they could do here because, for whatever reason, the Chargers are the only team in the NFL that can't find a running back other than Austin Eckler. Like, how do they not? There's like the Bears have like 6 running backs that are good. I don't understand what are the Chargers doing?
They keep trying the same guys that aren't good.
They're the only team in the NFL. Like, the Dolphins have like 7 guys that they could call. And like,
if you told me Josh Kelly's been Austin Eckler's backup for 6 seasons, I think I would believe you. I think that's probably accurate.
Isn't it such a shame they didn't sign Rashad Penny so we could have drafted him even slightly higher and then gotten the zeros?
No, it would have been bigger than 0. It would have been 2.
The Penny thing is the most like one of the most mystifying things about the season.
What happened?
He's good,
right? So there was one run in the preseason that he kind of like got loose in the middle and like broke out to. I don't even know if you guys remember this, but like I remember it being like a Rorschach test because like half of the people on Twitter were like, "Hell yeah, he looks awesome," and then the other half were like, "Oh my God, he's dust. He's the slowest. Like he's fat." He's
I remember that.
And I'm like, I thought he looked pretty good. Like that was awesome. Like you get him going. But maybe he's just like at this point, like the injuries have just caught up with him too much. I don't know what the deal is.
One of the things that's a bummer about not getting to see any Rashad Penny is it just seems like DeAndre Swift has completely lost his burst and explosiveness. I remember that game we had a shipcast. It was that Thursday night game against the Commanders early in the year, and he looked shot out of a cannon on every run. And I just haven't seen that from him in weeks.
Right.
I don't have eyes for film grinding, but it just does not seem like the big plays have been there.
I think you just nailed on the head exactly why the Lions wanted to move on from him is because just the durability over a season is like these guys are human beings. And when you get banged up and you get hit a lot, like it just wears your body down. And I think like from my perspective, the biggest thing that they had, the issue that they had is he was like always banged up. You know, it's like availability is the best ability. Like he just couldn't stay on the field consistently. And I think that was why they gave up with him because talent has sort of never been his issue. Like, early in the season, I totally agree with you. He looked incredible, like especially those first couple of weeks. You know, he was just running around creating explosive plays. But yeah, the last few weeks, I think the game script has definitely been an issue with him the last 3 weeks because they've been trailing. I don't have like the number in front of me, but I bet they've been trailing like 85% of the time. And I was talking to Nate Tice about this today. Actually, like they don't trust him in pass pro, I don't think very much. And so when there's situations where they know they're going to be passing, it's more like they bring Gainwell in and do that type of stuff. He's good in the passing game as a receiver, but not necessarily as a pass blocker. So
we saw the Lions do that too, where they had like a 3-man committee going in his final year there, where they bring Swift in for like design stuff, but then they think it was Ty Johnson or can't remember who it was, but they were mixing in
Craig Reynolds, maybe.
Yeah, might have been Craig Reynolds. Yeah, in addition to Jamal, it was like Jamal early down. Swift design stuff and then like a pass blocker.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's like I still think he's good, but I'm with you. Like I think just the wear and tear over a season, it really sort of has a different effect on different types of guys. Like the toughest guys are the ones that, you know, can play a full season and not really lose that burst.
Do you guys think that's what's happening with Zach Moss right now?
Maybe. Yeah. He definitely has sort of looked a little different. And I think for him coming into the NFL out of Utah, wasn't that one of the issues too? Is like he's just had a bunch of injuries in college. So, you know, that I think that adds up. I also think it's just, you know, variance probably. Like he had that touchdown called back. And whoever they're playing, it can make a big difference. So
I do think that
also
fresh
variance
leg thing is
early
is
in the
a
year.
Legit thing. Like you see Chase Brown, right? Wasn't that the fastest recorded
fresh
run?
legs? Yeah, he was like 23 miles an hour or something like that, 22 and a half.
He looked so fast on that play. He looked Justin Fields fast. Like he was
100%.
Good.
Yeah, just the juice really shows up. I think it's like that's like why having a few different running backs like throughout the season is like, you know, we hate it in fantasy, but like if I was a coach, I would do that. I'd like rotate guys probably a little bit more than fantasy people want.
Danny,
why not like I like the idea of just saving a Chase Brown for like the final 4 weeks of the season.
That's what the Eagles are doing with Rashad Penny, Pat.
Oh,
yeah, no, come on, man. Don't tease me.
That would be amazing, actually.
I gotta get your opinion on something because we were gonna have you on a couple weeks ago. You're a Seahawks guy. You got the sweet Seattle hat on. We had some Dallas fans on that week, so instead we brought you on this week when nobody wanted to come on for this stupid game. But you being a Seattle guy, we didn't get an opportunity. Like the biggest thing I want to know is what is your take on Jaxon Smith-Njigba? We've had some heated JSN discussions on this pod lately. Where are you at on him?
I'm still optimistic. I can definitely understand like why people are upset or like concerned about it. I've had a lot of people text me like, My dad texted me the other day. He was like, "I'd rather have Zay Flowers." And I was like,
Oh no.
I was like, well, I kind of get that, but also like I think in the Seahawks offense, like JSN is going to play the role, like play an important role for them, like a guy's like a chains mover because they have DK Metcalf, who is just like, you know, a ball of explosiveness. He's going to make his big plays, but he's not necessarily a guy they can target on 3rd and 4. And then they have Tyler Lockett, who I think is getting a little bit like older. He's not quite as, you know, dynamic, explosive. He's still good, but like not the same player he used to be probably. And so I always saw it like when I said this when they drafted him, it was like he's more of a 2024 player, I think, like in their offense. And so I think obviously it's been disappointing, especially early on when they just like had his ADOT was like 1 or like half a yard or something like that. It was basically just like getting him in there to like, hey, go catch a ball, get hit, you know, get used to this. But I don't think they had him as like a big part of their game plan to start out because they had DK and Lockett and they're so good in their 12 personnel groupings. So it was like from their point of view, it's like we're really our best when we have 2 tight ends out there. You know, we're not giving away that we're passing or running. They do a lot of stuff like in that formation in those looks, and they're just really good at it. So I think that was like a big part of early on. I think he's come on of late, but I understand why people are a little bit concerned about it, but end of the day, I'm still very bullish on him.
Nice.
Where do you guys land?
Do you think Pete gets fired after the year? I gotta ask that too. No, he's here forever.
I think if there's a coaching change in Seattle, it'll be that Pete retires. At least in the short term, like in the next few years.
Yeah.
I think the current ownership right now is like sort of in a holding pattern because Paul Allen's sister essentially has to sell the team within X amount of years. I don't know exactly. It's like there's no like hard evidence or like a hard report on like how long that is. I think it's been like speculated a couple different numbers, but yeah. So like I think there's a little bit of a holding pattern. So she didn't really want to rock the boat too much and like do big changes in the meantime. Plus, like Pete Carroll's like literally like 2 bad years in Seattle. So you know, it's like it's kind of like I think it's like a Tomlin thing. Like he raises the floor a lot. You know, and like I think he is always going to have a competitive team, but I obviously from a fan point of view, it's like, you know, the defense sucks again, and you're supposed to be a defensive guy. Like, what's going on? And they've sunk a lot of resources and draft capital into the freaking defense, and it's still terrible. So,
who calls the plays in Seattle?
Shane Waldron, who is he's like a McVay disciple. He was a coach for the Rams, like passing game coordinator for the Rams.
One of the lesser known McVay disciples. This is not a John or a Peter here. We got
right. I think he's like good.
The dude at the end of the table at the last supper.
Yeah, he was sitting. Barely make him out in the painting.
Hey, will you pass the bread?
Yeah. He's like, you know how Kitchen like claims people that are on his tree. You know, McVay kind of forgets to mention that Waldron's part of his tree, just when he's rattling them off.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people are split on him. I think he has some good moments and some bad moments, clearly. But I mean, helping Gino turn into what Gino turned into last year is certainly like I feel like a pretty impressive thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I know you can do this with a lot of teams. Like I've done it with like picturing the Jags with like Mike McDaniel or Kyle Shanahan with that talent. But I think even like the Seahawks too, it's like, imagine Kyle Shanahan or Mike McDaniel with that skill position group. Like the amount of things. It just seems like an uninspired, uncreative way to utilize that talent when I see it.
Yeah, it's there's I think play calling is one of those things that's like, number one, it's hard. It's really hard to do from like, there's so many different things. Number one, like obviously designing plays, having an offense, having a philosophy, but it's like sequencing and in-game adjustments based on like what you're seeing from the defense. Like there's only a few guys that are like truly really good at that. And then there's everybody else who's like okay at it. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like quarterback. Honestly, it's like franchise quarterbacks in the NFL. Like I feel like there's a few really elite play callers, and then there's just a bunch of other guys that are like pretty good and like can have a good day here and there, but aren't going to give your team like an edge every single time. Like Shanahan, it's like guys are wide open all the time, And I don't know how that he does that, but he just is.
He's
so
doing all this stuff where he's like showing you something a couple times, and then he flips off of that, so you think you're getting this, then you get, and he knows what you're thinking. He's like,
right,
like truly playing 4-dimensional chess with this stuff.
It's wild how much goes into it. Yeah, it's crazy.
What you were just saying, I mean, it's got to be really difficult. I mean, it's such a feel thing. You can get that right in certain games, but then you've put that on film, that exact answer to that problem. You have to be able to always have an answer to a new problem, because everyone is seeing your film and then making adjustments. Like Pat just said, it's a change off a change off a change.
Yep.
You have to understand what everyone else is thinking, what the defenses are thinking, what their goals are, what they're trying to accomplish, and then always be a step ahead.
You have to synthesize all that information in a chaotic football game from the sideline. When you like, imagine the angle from the sideline. I guess some people are up top too, but like, you have to synthesize all that information, and you're making the calls for the next play within like a few seconds after the play ends, right? So it's not like you have 25 seconds to like make a decision. You have to get the play call in within like literally like 5 or 10 seconds, because then they have to relay it to the team. They have to huddle. They have to move it along. You have to call
famously why Seattle lost a Super Bowl, because after the Jermaine Kearse catch, they had to take a timeout, and then they ended up throwing instead of running because they didn't have enough timeouts for downs, and they outthought themselves literally because they couldn't get a play in 5 or 10 seconds. I mean, that was the start of that. Yeah,
they panicked, and it's like I am like of the opinion like that's the best way to build a NFL franchise is if you find a wonderkind or whatever, like a savant play caller. Make him your head coach and then keep him there. Because if you can get one of those guys like McDaniel in Miami, I feel like is going to be so successful for a long time, just because he's always like one step ahead of the defense, and he's so smart and can synthesize all the information. So do it so quickly. So I don't know, like Waldron's fine, but I think like at the end of the day, there's just only a few guys that really, really separate themselves. You know what I mean? It's like, that's like one of the biggest advantages you can have in the NFL right now, or ever, really.
Man, everyone who took the under in this game and the Raiders are on pace to score 56 points.
They're gonna beat it on their own. It was 35.5.
So is Staley getting fired after tonight? Is he getting fired?
He's got to go, right?
Yeah, this is embarrassing.
Well, he's not making.
This kind of reminds me of the loss that Nathaniel Hackett had last year around this time to the Rams. Remember where the Rams, like Baker Mayfield, just got thrust into the starting lineup or whatever, and they dropped like 50 on that Broncos team, and they're like, "All right, that's enough."
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah,
I'm gone. That's enough. Man, I wish I would have started Mayer. Who knew?
Yeah, he's rolling. Been waiting all season for him to do anything close to this. He's looked good in the opportunities he's gotten, but I mean, this has been a really impressive half. It's all been put together. I feel like we are in a good spot in fantasy at the tight end position going forward. This year's rookie class obviously is crushed, but Trey McBride looks like a freaking star in the last few weeks. I mean, there's so many good young tight ends. Obviously, Laporta, Kincaid, and Mayer, and all these dudes, but the tight end position is back, baby. It's back.
I know. I'm like, I keep wanting to be like, how is this going to go off the rails next year for us? Because, obviously there's been this like forever joke about how everybody gets super excited about like the Chiga Kwamkos of the world in the offseason, and then they have like 2 catches a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, I think too, it feels like teams are more willing and able to utilize the tight end position in their passing game this year than it has been in recent seasons. I think there was like and I haven't looked at the numbers, so this is just a theory, but like, I feel like 11 personnel was really in vogue for a while. And the teams were taking advantage of space and spreading the field and all that stuff for a little while. And that was obviously like, I think making the tight end position less valuable and less utilized in the passing game. But now it feels like I'd be interested if the numbers are down for 11 personnel, but it feels like, to take advantage of the smaller defenders and there's sort of like been a pendulum swing towards like heavier personnel this year, or at least just getting those guys more involved in the passing game. So it's been super encouraging. Like
the 2 tight end sets, you can be flexible with your formations, right? Like once you get them out of their small defensive looks, they're going to match, and then you can throw or run. But then that leads to, it makes it easier to run, obviously, with 2 tight ends on the field. Makes sense.
And it helps, like, I think so. Obviously, this last season, the last draft class has been awesome. It kind of like lived up to all the hype and more with these 3 guys, Laporta, Mayer, and Kincaid. Am I missing anybody else? I feel like there's maybe like
Musgrave's been okay.
Kraft,
not great.
Kinda.
Yeah,
looks fine.
He's looked really good. And then you add that in from like last year's classes looked awesome too. Like Ferguson looks legit for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And
McBride.
obviously Mcbride has just been a freaking beast. So yeah, it's like all
Dulcich. Can we still get Dulcich?
I know, right? Like I thought he looked really good, like in limited action as a rookie. He's just been like, he has just like
Sean Payton's not a fan.
One hamstring.
They already ruled him out for this week, but I thought he was going to come back. I still have him kicking around on some rosters.
Yeah.
And like Hawkinson,
I drafted so much of him.
Hawkinson last year was sort of like a 4th-year breakout. Now he's in his 5th year, like backing that up. Like he's still plenty young. He's got a lot of years to go, and he's
that's a good point.
As well.
And Njoku,
you
have this like. There's always been kind of
Komet's good too.
Yeah,
Komet's kind of coming to his own a bit. There's usually we have like an Eric Ebron type, like or Jared Cook kind of guy, like kind of doing this thing.
None of us has said Kyle Pitts yet.
Well, there's a reason.
We haven't had a reason to say Kyle Pitts yet.
I mean, he was the greatest prospect at the position ever. Like, oh man, I hate Arthur Smith.
That was years ago, bud.
When is he a free agent? 2025? God forbid they freaking tag him or whatever, give him a 5th-year option. But I mean, yeah, he flashes, but I think there's something wrong with his knee still. So
his route participation is back up over 90% the last 2 weeks. So I'm like, is the knee right?
He finally like healthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't mention Freiermuth. I think he's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
But yeah, the point Goddard. We didn't mention Goddard. He's been gone for a little bit, but he's back.
Yeah.
Kate Otten flashes. Yeah, Andrews obviously is awesome. Kittle's awesome.
Kate Otten, his publicist had to have paid you for that. This guy's running empty routes all year.
His publicist just shows highlights from that Texans game. That's all.
It was me. I sent Danny a DM pre-show. I was like, I got to get the UW guy.
I was going to say he's a Washington guy, so I just had to that was like obligatory.
Austin's Farian Jenkins while we're at it.
Hell yeah! Noah Fant is going to be a free agent, I think, after this year, and get him off the Seahawks.
Fant, man.
Hopefully, just for fantasy. Obviously, I think he's a good player, but I think he could be like. He could catch a lot of passes in like an offense that actually wants to not rotate 3 guys.
Yes.
Fant's pretty good. Fant's always look good.
Yeah. Every time he catches it, I'm like, this guy is good. They need to use him more, but they really love Will Dissly. They gave him a ton of money. And then Colby Parkinson comes in and plays like, it's all like 40-40-40 in terms of like the percentages, I think, for snaps. So super frustrating.
Fant has that thing where you're just like, who is this guy? Like, it's Noah Fant. Like he's so much bigger than everyone. He moves really fast.
Yes.
Kind of looks like
all of his numbers are good.
Waller back in his prime or something. Like, give this
all of his per route stuff is like really good. It's just like he's never played in an offense where they've run him enough routes.
Yeah,
and that doesn't make sense.
Never.
I think he's still really young.
He came in young.
He came in.
Yeah, he's like Hawkinson's age. They came in the same year. They were
so odd because he was like
26,
a top 10 pick, right?
Yeah. I think so. Or at least first
20th overall. Hawkinson was
20.
Yeah.
Hawkinson was the top 10 pick, I think, right? They
both
were from. Hawkinson was 8th in 2019, and Fant was 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both came from Iowa, and they both were first round tight ends the same year.
Wow.
This dynamic was so we were the Underdog Live final drafts for last week. They were 12-person drafts, and it was a gross slate, a lot of low totals. There was literally like 6 or 7 quarterbacks you felt good about, and then Evan Ingram and David Njoku were like tight end 11 and tight end 12 on the slate, like in ADP. Like they were free, like for anyone who wanted them, and those guys are dropping like 25 burgers because the position is so deep. Even when the rest of the passing offenses are really struggling. And then you can see those guys, right? Like Njoku and Ingram can be beneficiaries even of bad overall passing offenses because they're just the outlet
Oh no, I just had a theory. Maybe tight ends are so good this year because quarterbacks are so bad.
Oh,
That just made me think it's like, oh, shoot,
That fits
Kyler.
too damn well.
I was playing terrible, and he's just
Yeah.
checking down the Trey McBride nonstop.
Like,
Joe
we got-
Flacco's back.
Yeah, we got
Lawrence
like
doesn't play that good. Just checks down to Ingram.
some of the worst quarterbacking of the last like 15 years this year. Just, obviously a lot of that has to do with injuries, but shoot, I hope that's not actually the case. And then
Aiden O'Connell made Michael Mayer.
Well, it's funny because like this year tight end is like way deeper, but we didn't have to like really pay for that. You're getting Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz was pretty cheap. There's
Unless
all
you're
these
in a
rookie
draft
tight
Lamb.
ends. We've got Trey McBride was like barely drafted, right? So
Right.
you got to like kind of pick your spot, and you probably found like decent tight end value, on some of your teams, no matter when you took tight end. But next year, we really need to decide if this is for real or not, because
Right.
we're going to be paying up for all these guys now.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. I'm trying to figure out like who the late round tight end that's gonna hit next year is gonna
Kyle
be.
Pitts.
Honestly, probably after we all finally give up on him,
Honestly,
Yeah.
and he's gonna.
All
be
these other guys have to go over him, so he's going to go in like the 12th round.
I know,
Underdog drafters aren't going to give up on him though. Like there's a floor
Yeah,
to
I
how
know.
far he can.
But
fall
truly, like
in
what
drafts.
is he gonna be? Like tight end 19, 18, something like
I'll
that.
I'll take higher on that one.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think higher than that.
But
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think he'll be a good one. I could see like Musgrave, just based on like pure numbers now, like being like in that tight end 2 area somewhere. Like
Honestly, I
15,
think you already mentioned. I think
17.
it's Fant. Fant's an unrestricted free agent.
Let's find the ideal landing spot for Fant,
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to do that in my
Yeah.
head a second ago.
That's a fun game.
because I mean, yeah, I would love to have him go to a team where he's going to be like the number
got
2
one.
option.
Yeah.
The Rams.
They just re-signed Higbee though, I think.
Higbee's so old.
Washington?
You know what's so funny?
little
Pat,
Sam
for a
Howell take
second?
over for Logan Thomas?
Ooh,
Ooh,
I like that.
that's good.
That's good. Go, Devontae. Go, buddy. Sorry, we're trying to cover a spread on Gerald Everett yards right now.
We got our little props game going here.
He's in a hole right now, but that
Yeah.
helped.
There's 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Oh my god.
We didn't tell you the stream was going to go till midnight.
I just looked at it and did the same thing in 7 minutes. I was like, we're halfway through this quarter. What is happening?
Oh wow,
right.
my stream is way behind you guys. So you're using cable, man. That'd be amazing. Yeah, I just saw the Devontae play.
Hey, Danny. It might be because you have this game on all 19 devices
Whoa.
in your house.
Just buffering. Yeah.
We just got a Jacoby Myers to Devontae Adams pass. Data, you should watch this. It's a fun play.
Oh, hold on. I'll wait like it'll be on in like 30 seconds. They're still showing the replay for the first one here. That being said, love the Amazon Prime, by the way, the all 22
yeah.
thing. It's freaking great. Prime Vision.
I would
or
think
whatever.
do you live in Washington?
Yeah, I'm up in Bellingham.
Okay. I assume they just pipe that feed right from the Amazon headquarters to you guys. You get that real good there.
I can see the beacon from my house. Yeah.
Yeah.
The tower, the white tower. Yeah. No, I think we do get pretty good internet up here, up around these parts. The tech lords.
Yeah. Although they're
what were we
taking
talking-
Amazon to like some other state now. It's
Oh, are they?
Bezos is leaving us.
Are they doing the Elon thing, heading to Texas or whatever?
I think they're moving to Florida or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Gretch, are you in Seattle?
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm in like Mill Creek area. So
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. So wait, where did we land with Fant on Washington?
Washington or the Rams?
Yeah, I like
The
those.
Rams, Higbee, I think they could.
Problem is we just don't want him to turn into Gerald Everett. in
Oh,
a time
it's the Chargers. It's the Chargers, dude. They can't get
Oh, you're
anything for Herbert, right? Like, I mean, if
Ooh.
they could actually get a legit tight end for Herbert, it's 35-0. My God.
No, you're right. They just, why does Higbee have another 2 years on his deal?
They just re-signed him, like, I think early this season.
God.
Or maybe it was last year. I can't remember. Man, the Chargers defense, not very good.
Wait, that was
No.
Brandon Bolden? We were talking about
Yeah.
Zay White. We're already in garbage time?
Yes.
There's 9 minutes left in the second quarter now. They put
Brandon
time on.
Bolden breakaway touchdown runs in the second quarter. What is happening?
This is wild. I really do think Staley's probably done after this game.
He has
Done
to
after
be.
this
And
quarter.
The team's quitting on him. Like,
Yeah.
Easton Stick isn't allowing 35 points to the Raiders. You know what I mean? Like, this is not. This is bad.
Yeah.
Brandon Bolden. It's 2023. What is Brandon Bolden doing? Running for 26 yards at a TD. This is amazing.
Brandon Bolden. I'm looking at the R lads. He's not even on their roster. Was he a practice squad guy?
He must be.
Weird.
They
Sure. wish
got
it
the
was-
practice. They got it at the bottom of those Arlad's page.
Oh,
Is it
sorry.
on
I'm looking at the wrong team. I'm an idiot. I was looking at the Chargers. There we go. There he is.
You were looking at the 2013 New England Patriots roster that had Brandon Bolden on it.
Yeah.
What
He was in Miami?
Oh,
Who knew?
Bolden?
Yeah. Looks
I
like
didn't know that.
for a minute. Yeah.
He had a long career with the Pats of like they loved him on special teams.
He's 33.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good work.
What? He just had 1 year in Miami, then went back to New England for 2 more years? That's wild. That he like ran for 2 touchdowns for them. That's memory hole. I don't remember that at all.
What do you guys think of O'Connell?
He looks great to me tonight.
Yeah.
Danny.
3 TDs in the first half?
How many drinks deep are you right now?
I'm drinking water tonight. I'm drunk on AOC.
Yeah, this is too sober of a stream. But I mean, Christmas shopping to do that. Like this game's like, what are we gonna get up for this game?
I could really use some Easton Stick rushing yards. That's what would really make it move for me right now.
I thought he was
And
going to
not
roll
1
out.
yard passes to
Instead
the
he threw to
stick to
Everett.
Gerald Everett.
But did you guys hear me? I think this is a great spot for is the Chargers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see that.
That's nice. It has to be on our different coaching staff, which I guess is inevitable. But because they would just Everett him, I would be my worry, and rotate him nonstop.
Yeah, who's the super tall guy again? What's his name?
Parham.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's inactive tonight, and Gerald Everett is feasting.
That's fair. That's a good point. They do rotate.
But it might be. I mean, it should be a different coaching staff. So tied to Herbert is pretty sick.
Yeah. And Herbert needs more receiving weapons that are actually good. Like
Ben Johnson, new Chargers coach.
there you go.
That would be fun.
How about this, guys?
Give
How
him
very
to
fun.
Herbert. Oh my God, I like this.
about the Dolphins? Right? Isn't
The
that
Dolphins,
the
yeah,
one
that-
team that
that-
needs the tight end?
That's a good one.
That's a good
It
one.
could be the-
No
it could
offense
be
to your
like-
guy Durham Smythe, Pat, but
Yeah.
no offense on the Dolphins.
He had his chance, you know. Durham Smythe, the K dot of the also South, many are calling him.
How rude. How
He
rude.
could go to Carolina and take the Adam Thielen targets and like be better with those targets.
Noah Fan as the Adam Thielen replacement. Love it. Yeah, we are gonna have to take a little stroll here. What are we seeing in this? Let's see what we got cooking in the lobby here.
It's such a blowout. Like, is Eckler even gonna play? Like, I mean, this is
No,
disastrous.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Danny, do you do any pick'ems, anything like that these days? Or are you a purist?
No, I don't. I wish I could talk shop with you guys about this stuff, but no, not.
No. We
Not
want to
currently.
talk
Washington
shop.
State.
You know, in ball. We need to see what you're seeing here. They have really low numbers, obviously, on the passing, assuming the Raiders aren't going to need to pass anymore. Only what? Jacoby only needs 8 more yards, 9 more yards.
Danny, better question. How do we band together and march on Olympia, the state capital of Washington, and get this stuff legalized in this state?
Seriously. Do you know any lobbyists, first of all?
I unfortunately do not.
Are you connected to future governor Bob Ferguson, potentially? I don't know. No, I have no idea.
Where are you connected?
I don't even know who Bob Ferguson is. That's a name I don't know.
He's the state attorney general or something like that. I don't even know, but apparently he's probably the betting favorite to be the next
Also,
one.
Danny, I just want to let you know you did pass my test. I asked you if you played Pick'ems. I know you live in the state of Washington. I had the FBI ready to kick down your door.
There's a SWAT team headed back to the station.
Cut it.
He's good. No, he's not doing it.
Stand down.
Although they did just talk about storming the Capitol, so maybe stay on the
It's almost January, you know.
Oh boy.
Just the fantasy community in Washington is ready to go.
Where's Danny Kelly on January 4th?
The nerds with their spreadsheets storming the state capitol.
They'll just get the NFL to schedule a game that day, and everyone will stay.
Yeah, it'll dissipate.
Oh man.
So
you guys are betting on props for the second half? Is that what the deal is?
Yeah.
Basically, it's when our good, pick'ems from the start of the game are blown up and they don't have much hope. Then we're like, well, we got to go back to the well.
Yeah.
The thing is
I have an angle.
Okay, you have an angle. I was just going to show Danny. We had some good stuff here. We have AOC higher than 203 passing yards. I feel like he's going to get there. We already got the Michael Mayer. We have Cameron Dicker lower than 6.5 kicking points. I don't know how he gets there.
There's no way. That's our best pick. Look at that. Pete, you nailed it. You chased some fucking kickers.
This is the one that is going to be the hardest. Can we get 19.5 rushing yards from Easton Stick?
I feel like we can because they're going to be he's going to be scrambling probably.
Sure.
Okay.
We're not going to get any kneel downs, so we don't have to worry about that.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
I think the Adams Everett one is like, are we going to get enough Adams up this big to cover this?
Oh, you're going to get a little too much Everett too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we need a quick score from the chart. We need Easton Stick to do one of those design run Justin Fields-esque 75-yard touchdown runs.
Stick's getting there.
Terrell Pryor. Yeah.
Pat, what was your halftime angle? I want to hear this.
Quentin Johnston. That's the way this doomed coaching staff, they got to try to get something out of this game. Get the first-round rookie looking a little good.
Okay.
I'm putting it all on Alex Erickson second half overs.
Okay, here we go.
We're building out some stuff.
So, Pat, when you're saying the organization needs to get QJ involved to save face, does the GM get to come down and throw the ball to him, or is it Easton Stick that's still?
I'm just saying, Staley's throwing Hail Marys for his job, and as part of that, he will be throwing Hail Marys to the Chargers' first-round pick.
From what I've seen, Quentin Johnson doesn't catch Hail Marys for his job.
Oh my God!
Targets.
They just ran it up the middle on third down and one. Got stuffed. Went for it on fourth. Did the same shotgun run up the middle. After the whole 2-minute warning, had all the time to think about it. Did the same thing. Got stuffed again. Oh God! Turning it over at midfield. There is a flag. It's probably also on the Chargers. Yep, it is. They're declining it. This is embarrassing. Oh, offside on the offense. I thought they were going to say offside on the defense. Good Lord.
Yeah,
we got an offside on the offense, huh?
We got another one. Yeah.
Wow,
man. So
Gerald
Danny,
Everett.
when you go into the lab, like start building out, I mean, the Ringer draft guide is always one of my favorite ones to read through. Your stuff is awesome. The design and layout, awesome. I mean, are you starting? It's December. Are you starting to write that thing?
Oh yeah. I've basically banged out all the quarterbacks at this point, or at least the outlines for the reports. Move into receivers next. I like to start with the fun ones, and then eventually we'll talk about interior defensive linemen. And actually, I think the most boring position to scout is corner, just because if you're good, you're just like running around for an hour and a half and not doing anything.
This guy didn't get Didn't get thrown at once. That's a good thing.
Like the best guys are like getting targeted like 4 times in a game. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
God, then it's just like
it's
boring.
like the elite batter who gets walked every time.
So yeah, but yeah, we started actually the Ringer Fantasy Football Show turns into the Ringer NFL Draft Show in like January, but we kind of started mixing where we did our first Ringer Draft Show on Wednesday, so it's already starting. We're already getting there. I'm looking up travel information for Mobile, Alabama.
There you
go. That.
Yeah,
Senior Bowl?
Senior Bowl just over the horizon, so yeah, we're getting there.
When is that?
Who was the big Senior Bowl guy last Senior Bowl?
Well, I would say like a couple guys that like really surprised were Jaden Reed was really good. I think he was sort of like the talk of the town. In terms of just like guys that, you know, maybe were surprising, that Michael Wilson, the guy that ended up with the Cardinals.
Yep.
He was like really surprising. I think people were really stoked about him. I'm trying to remember who else was there.
Wasn't Romeo Dobbs another Senior Bowl guy a couple years ago?
Romeo Dobbs was he was a standout at the Senior Bowl. I'd say Puka definitely was a standout too. Yeah, that was a great one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I should pay attention to the Senior Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Fine.
I'm trying to jog my memory, but I want to say maybe he didn't practice the whole time. I can't remember. He might have like got banged up or something. But honestly, like guy who scored a touchdown tonight, Trey Tucker, he caught my eye at the Senior Bowl. And so when he was drafted in the 3rd round, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like he was really good. I think everyone expected him to be like a 7th rounder, but he was really impressive at the Senior Bowl too. So I think he boosted his stock big time there. So I think it is like from a dynasty point of view, the way I approach it is trying to figure out who's going to get drafted higher than they think. Cause then you can find a lot of good value in like rookie drafts. Like if you're doing them before the draft, obviously,
sure.
You can like pick up those guys that you think are going to get drafted higher than everyone else thinks. And that's a good way.
Do you remember if any of the tight ends popped?
Yeah. Trying to remember. Musgrave. Musgrave was the big one. I want to say he was like,
he was a senior. Yeah.
Yeah, people.
The other guys weren't there
about him, and then Will Mallory. Actually, I think people were talking about Will Mallory a little bit at the Senior Bowl, and I think he's outplayed what people thought he would do. So
he looks decent for Indy. Yeah,
I mean, if they ever pare it down to like a 3-man tight end rotation, who knows? Who knows?
They had a week where on their routes it was 25%, 25%, 25%, 27%. I've never seen anything like it. And I've been doing stealing signals for years.
Is that with Jelani Woods on IR? Because add him in, and it'll be like 5-man rotation.
It'll be a 5-man.
Super annoying, but yeah.
Danny, since you mentioned you're big in the dynasty weeds here, and before we get you on your way so you don't have to sit through us building a bunch of pick'ems in the second half. Who's a dynasty buy low this offseason? Who's someone the ship chasing community should send some offers out for?
That's a great question. The first guy that came to mind, and I don't actually know how much I believe this, but like Treylon Burks, I feel like he's had like the worst situation imaginable. Like he's gotten hurt every time he comes back, he starts to flash a little bit, then he gets like a really bad injury. And obviously he's on an offense that doesn't throw the ball very much. He's got a rookie quarterback. So there's just like, I feel like a million extenuating circumstances that are kind of holding him down. But I feel like when he has played, he's looked pretty good. That being said, like I think a 3rd rounder at this point is like going to get it done. I've seen a couple trades where people are just like sending like a 3rd and they get him. So
wow,
to me, that's worth it. Like, you know, see what happens.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm trying to think of other guys. What do you guys think of Jahan Dotson? Is the dream over?
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
it might be over. Like this was kind of the bull case, right? They passed nonstop. Howell's pretty good. And like,
clip that. Pat saying Howell's pretty good. Producer, clip that.
He's played pretty good. You know, he hasn't been perfect, but his highs have been pretty high. And you've got not a ton of target competition. Like Terry McLaurin's had a bad year. Curtis Samuel's like kind of the wide receiver 1 out of the slot. So he had, I don't know, it's wide open and it didn't happen.
I agree with you. My rationalization and take lock on that is that it's more a function of the quarterback than Dotson, but I don't know if that's actually true or not. That's my rationalization. It's like,
So I'm not the Howl Bear on this podcast. That's what we're finding.
No. Like, I mean, actually, I agree with you. Like, Howell's been surprisingly good. I mean, especially in fantasy, like he's been very useful. But I think it's like some quarterbacks are pass funnel guys that just like feed two guys, and that's like what they do. They just want to pass it to their guys and get to the next down. And Howell is like passing to 8 different guys in any given game for whatever reason. I don't know why. So
Is that who?
Trey Tucker again.
Trey Tucker.
Is it another touchdown?
Yeah.
I drafted him in every dynasty league because of a blurb Danny Kelly wrote from the Senior Bowl.
I need to like go and check my Twitter accounts to see if I mentioned anything about Trey Tucker, and then like do.
I'm seeing if anyone was
retweet
sick enough
that.
to draft Aiden O'Connell in Best Ball.
Wait, I'm gonna do it for you, Danny. I'm gonna go search Trey Tucker,
Well, Danny,
Danny Kelly, and retweet this.
The irony of this is I think dropped him on like 2 or 3 teams this week because I was like trying to pick up Davis Allen. Like who, by the way,
Davis Allen,
another guy from the Senior Bowl that I thought was pretty good. But yeah, Trey Tucker, I had him probably on like 10 different dynasty teams, just stashing him. I'm like, he's playing as a rookie, like that's pretty good, I guess.
Oh, February 1st, Danny Kelly, Michael Wilson, Trey Tucker, and Jaden Reed, all really impressive so far from the national team. Nailed
That's
it.
my
Let's
scout.
go.
That's
Wow.
my scout.
Let's go.
Danny, isn't there a viral screenshot of a DM you sent saying Devon Achane is going to be a beast too? Have I seen that?
I think that was with Scott Barrett. I put my professional credibility on one player more than any other player I think in my life, in Devon Achane.
Let's go.
Because I was like, he was one of the first players I watched early on in the draft process where I was like, that meme where the guy like sits up in the seat with like his controller. I was like, oh, this guy is super fun, so explosive. And then I was like, this is probably gonna really, really suck because he's 180 pounds and I'm gonna look like a total moron for like thinking he's awesome. So that is like maybe like my best aged take of all time is like the Devon Achane call, because I was like obsessed with this guy pre-draft.
It's working out pretty nice.
And every graph you see now, he's just like way up in the right corner, like all by himself. It's great.
That's how we're in like the crazy era of like fantasy football where you used to call Devon Achane a game breaker, and now the nerds are like, he's a chart breaker, bro. He broke my Y and X axes.
Yeah,
I've used that term several times.
I've heard lots of
broke
people
my
say it.
axes.
Yeah. Dude destroyed my axes.
Dude, it's all out of whack.
Oh,
Well, Danny, obviously they got to check you out on the Ringer. You got the Ringer fantasy football show that's soon to be the Ringer draft show. You said,
yeah. Well, we do the fantasy all the way through the end of the Super Bowl, and then it transitions to mostly draft coverage. And check that out. And then we have the Ringer Fantasy Draft Guide, which is now just the rankings that we do every week. And then obviously I'm working on the NFL Draft Guide for the Ringer, and that'll be, I believe we put it out during Senior Bowl week. So
nice.
the first iteration, obviously I'm kind of like slowly making my way through everything, but yeah, so look for that.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you hanging out. I don't know what we would have talked about in a 42-0 game. This half is finally over.
There's 11 minutes left in the second quarter.
What the hell is happening?
Clock's going backwards.
This is not
42
good.
to nothing. What is happening with this?
They should fire Staley at the half.
Really glad we had you here to talk about it, and I don't know what's happened. I didn't see a lot of the second quarter, and I'm better off for it.
Incredible.
Oh
but
my
yeah,
goodness.
you guys, it's super fun. So thank you for the invite.
Awesome.
Sure.
We will catch you around, Danny. We'll be hawking your dynasty takes here and whatever you say from the Senior Bowl this year. I'm gonna.
I
Fucking
know
pay
this is like too
attention,
much
all right?
pressure now. Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna have to like throw people off the scent for my own team's benefit here. I'm just gonna,
There you go.
talk about the worst guys.
There you go.
All right,
See you
Danny.
guys. Have a great
Appreciate
one.
it.
We'll
Thanks,
see
Dan.
you. All right, Danny Kelly. That was a blast.
Before we build lineups, I want
Yeah.
to ask you guys a question. So, how many advancing Aiden O'Connell teams do you think there are in Best Ball Media?
Oh God, 3.
Aiden, who the hell was drafting Aiden
Right.
O'Connell?
But he's not asking this question if it's 0.
No, based on how low we were on everything else, I'm gonna guess there's like 46 AOC teams.
There's 33.
Okay, yeah.
Wow. That's more. I mean, obviously more than I thought. 33?
He was drafted 246 times.
How?
I
But
don't know.
also,
Yeah.
if you draft him, how do you advance? It's got to be 3 quarterback builds, right? I guess not.
All right, everyone write down where they have AOC for the BBM 4 game.
No.
No, hang on. How many points does he have tonight? Because I think that's very
He's
important.
breaking the slate.
There's 33 advancing teams. If I get bounced by one fucking Aiden O'Connell team, I swear to God, this will be my last
have
year
better
playing
next time.
best ball. Oh my gosh!
All
All right, we gotta make some pick'ems.
we
Well,
sure do.
We're not doing the Bestball Mania scale. I thought we were really doing it.
No, we're not.
No,
I have. They don't have anything up right now. Hang on, unless I'm looking at this wrong.
no, they don't. It's that bad.
I think he's a 6.
It's 42 to 0. They're like our algorithm can't handle 42 to 0.
The algorithm, dude. This game broke our axes. Oh my
man.
goodness.
It's 42 to 0 at the half. That's my first.
Underdog
note.
just said we're just
Segments
gonna
of the
take the
week.
rest of the night off. We don't even want your money.
I mean, why would you? This is a disaster. They're worried everyone's going to get pulled. People are going to just hammer unders. What do you do? You know?
7 Trey Tucker BBM teams. Danny Kelly has 7 teams that advance to the playoffs.
I want Isaiah Spiller overs. They just want to go home, man.
Yeah. Overs feel like a dangerous word in this game.
Yeah, because the usage is not going to be predictable anywhere. I think, and that's why I think they don't have them up. It's like the optimal would just be to hammer a bunch of unders, right? And like because
I
Isaiah
having a hard
Spiller,
time predicting an underdog. Put up some pick'ems, please. Okay. What are we supposed to do right now? Just watch this
I got
game.
the auto refresh on here so I can stop doing it. Waiting to just snipe. I dare you to put something up, Underdog.
Underdog, ever heard of Vig? You guys, this is how that works. You guys, if no one knows, you can still make money. It's an
You can
incredible
put the
thing.
worst lineup of all time. We're still going to take a side of it.
right?
We'll take a side of it. So put something up, please.
Either that or we're going to be forced to bet this little hand-picked basketball one here. Was this one of the longest first halves? I mean, it was essentially an hour and 45-minute first half.
Don't worry, I definitely don't have 10 teams to write up for the walkthrough still.
I saw your preface to the sacrilegious article where you admitted to being wildly behind this week.
I am wildly behind. I literally have.
The tweets are good right now. We got Benjamin Solak, Danny's colleague over at The Ringer. If you consider the vastness of the universe, light years of space between these specks of dirt and dust we call planets and stars, the churches aren't really losing by all that much. And then you got the Action Network had the skit. I think he should leave skit where he's got the Michael Myers mask. He got the whole mask on and everything.
I don't want to be here anymore.
I don't even want to be around anymore. It was Brandon
anymore.
Staley during the halftime interview. He's not around anymore.
This comment is only for inside sickos, but God, it hits me hard. Ian says Liam probably touting against Jimmy G teams as leverage against AOC.
That's good. That's really good. Oh man. Oh god, the Raiders got shut out and lost 3-0 last week, and they have 42 points at half this week. Wow. Where are we at on the Adams versus Everett thing? Because I saw that Adams got out ahead of him.
Not too bad.
We only need like a few more yards. It's just tough because they might not play him.
Yeah, he hunted him down. He's 4.5 yards off. I mean, even with this score right now, if you could pick just a side of this exact rival, which side would you take right now? Completely self-contained.
It's a really tough call. I think that's about the line I would put. I don't want to pick against Adams on that, but I do think Everett's going to run more routes in the second half. Right?
Yeah. I think I'd take Everett. But the thing we have going for us is that like the Chargers are going to be just as run heavy as the Raiders. Like they truly want to go home.
Yes. The nice thing though that we do have going for us, like normally when you see a blowout like this, it's on a playoff team that's going to like rest starters and shit. I mean, these guys have just been playing for pride all year, you know? Like they might still have a few passing drives in them.
Can we just comment on how hilarious it is that we did the pregame ones really quick and we're like, we're going to look forward to halftime, and now there's none at halftime. They don't exist. Oh, let's do a gauntlet.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Let's do a draft.
All right.
I don't get to do them, so any chance I can, thumb the scale to get a few more gauntlet drafts in, I'm in.
Yeah. Oops, not main slate. My bad.
I did like 8 at a time because I tried to get the low mitten. I tried to get to 20, and I was like, I'll do this later. And I looked, and it was like 96% full, and I drafted 2 of them. And so I just like entered, got up to like 6 or 7, and then I looked, and it was 99% full, and I just hit enter until it wouldn't let me do it anymore. It was a rush because you can't. There's like picks you can't make. So like 2 or 3 of them are completely dead.
Yeah,
but I got in,
dude. That it is so different from like, if you have a battle royale team or whatever, a weekly, like it's like not like I could auto draft 3 picks, completely salvage it and still draft a plus EV team or whatever. Like if you get the wrong pick, you auto timeout in one of these, it's done. It's just hate it so much.
How many drafts did you do it at the same time, Pat?
Max, I think there were 8 going at once.
Wow.
But I was literally like going in, picking like as fast as I could. Like, who do I have on this team? Pick. Go out, and I would like go out, and it would be like 20 seconds, 25 seconds, 26 seconds, 28 seconds, 29 seconds. I'd be like, fuck. If I was on the turn, I would pick once, go back out, and grab one that had 10 seconds left. And like literally, it was pretty nuts. It was fun. I genuinely was very fun. I mean, these are $3 drafts, so it was good.
Hill, Hurts, Kelsey, Debo, AJB.
I'd be Debo.
Any other suggestions?
Kelsey's interesting if you think we can get Mahomes back.
If we do Debo, we're taking Purdy, right? Coming back?
Yeah.
Probably.
You do. Yeah. You should probably. You should be able to get him because both
also take him.
Yeah. All right. I did Debo.
I don't know enough to know anything. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like the Mahomes, the Hurts, Brown, Mahomes, Kelsey, these are all 3 like stacks here, right?
Yeah.
We could have kind of just picked our stack, and the other 2 badges were going to do their stacks.
Right. So we doing Brock?
Let's do
it. There's no way Brock.
The other move's Lamar.
Start building
Lamar. And build a Baltimore.
But if you're going to do Lamar, don't you take another skill position and see if you can push Lamar back?
We could go Tyreek. What if we go Tyreek?
That's what I mean. Do you take Tyreek and just see if you can push
let's take Tyreek.
Back? I mean, because he slides here. Is Debo? I haven't done enough of these. Is Debo Tyreek unique?
It wouldn't be that common because Tyreek's been going in the first round. He is sliding some, but Debo's the team will be weird. I don't think the team will be super common this week.
Yeah.
Although I haven't drafted much. I haven't drafted at all today. I drafted a bunch yesterday. Testing out stuff.
And you said on your Purdy teams, you've been, holy cow, line of scrimmage just got the gift.
Yeah.
Because Copper goes Lamar, and so now line of scrimmage didn't think he had any shot. And this is why you push QB, because then you sneak in the Kittle with it. Nicely done.
So we have to
but now we have no, because we're in a smart room, we push Tua.
Okay.
If you're in a dumb room,
we push Tua. If anything, we should take Achane if we're taking a Dolphin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys want to do Pollard or Achane?
Achane.
We could maybe get Achane coming back.
We didn't have enough time to discuss it.
Yeah. I didn't have a good answer. Sorry.
With the injury, with the toe thing, I was thinking maybe he would come around.
The thing is you have these guys building out these stacks that they worry about. Like even the turn me up is like, is Rashee Rice going to come back to me? The Rossberry, is Swift going to come back to me? So you can see what you can push.
Mm-hmm. We probably shouldn't want Pollard there. Yeah. I just didn't like starting with 3 separate teams. You often find yourself.
Well, we could go Waddle.
I was going to say go Waddle here.
Yeah. Yeah.
If someone wants to take an unstacked Tua as their second QB in the 4th or 5th, more power to them.
Ooh. Saw that purple and I was like, damn. He's got 3 separate teams. He's not taking. Yeah, he had to stack those teams, so he wasn't going to take Tua. I don't think. Well, that's a San Fran stack. He could take Tua, I guess, in the 3-hole.
Here's the question: do we just absolutely rip it in with Mostert?
Yeah, I say we keep pushing Tua.
Well, because so we have Hurts and Mahomes on the backside, and neither of them should take.
Mostert
lost Mostert.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
But that was the move.
I mean, we could take like a down.
I don't know if there's a big tier. There's no one that screams needing to try to push.
We should
Tua
take Tua. At this point, we're just kind of
Amon-Ra, no?
For the sake of it. Amon-Ra's a good pick, but I think Tua's better.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I guess.
Tua could have
could just be like, well, what if they get the bye?
Yeah. He could have went to either team. You're right. It's just that there's no way to stack him back there at all. So
yeah, but this is one of the sharpest rooms I've been in.
Yes.
And so maybe it's like you'd be surprised the things you see.
Well, even JGFC, it's definitely not optimal to take Dak and Josh Allen there back to back.
Yeah.
So you can't make. Yeah, I would have been bummed if we got rogue sniped on
he ran the clock down.
You can still play. You can still play it through Gibbs.
Is Detroit a good option here?
I don't love going the running back because generally you want your running backs on your teams that can make the conference championship, and I don't like making that bet. I would say we could go Ridley, Beckham, Gus, and make a bet on another AFC team. Would be my preference.
I'll go Ridley there. So then the only problem is you do really start to lose out on viable running backs that also make construction sense for you.
Where's the running back that we're going to go, Pat? I get your point. Adams. There we go. What's the running back direction? Is it AFC? It's got to be an NFC team, and we can't go San Fran with Debo.
At this point, it's probably like Eli Mitchell and
Detroit could make a run that doesn't run into San Fran. They're probably the 3 seed.
That's true.
And San Fran's the 1.
That's true. Yeah. No, I'm down to go Gibbs or Montgomery.
Well, we can get one now. I think it makes sense to do one of those guys. It just, even construction wise,
If Detroit's the 3 seed, the NFC South's going to be the 4. If they win their division, the lowest they can be is 3.
Look at this. Gibbs comes all the way back. He's a
Gibbs.
smash here.
Yeah.
That's good.
If they're the 3, there's no way they can play the 1 until. So if San Fran is the 1, we're kind of not playing San Fran to be the 1. Or I guess it doesn't matter. We only have Debo.
No, we kind of are.
Yeah, we kind of are.
It's good for us if they're the 1.
Yeah.
And we'll
So
grab.
I think Detroit makes sense with
Niner. Yeah.
Did Laporta go? Oh, Laporta's still there too.
Well, this is one of the benefits when you're in stay in your own lane rooms, and you're the first mover on a piece. I guess Laporta's gone.
Laporta went there. Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, sorry. I was like, I do think you just double tap the 2 here.
Montgomery
And be done with running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're making a pretty strong bet on Detroit, but it's not crazy.
Montgomery, and then if Jameson Williams comes back, you got to take him. No?
Because we would set up, I guess we're at 4 Miami. We're probably done with Miami. We're at 2 Detroit, 1 Jacksonville, and 1 San Fran. I think Zay makes a ton of sense for this team.
Zay Jones?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he does. Josh Reynolds possibly in the 10th.
I think, do we want a second Niner? We're
Or
probably
Jawan
in like
Jennings.
Jawan Jennings, Eli.
Jawan
Mitchell,
Jennings is
Jordan Mason.
a really strong pick for this team.
Can I hear you
Yeah.
guys' take on this? I've been taking Jordan Mason over Eli Mitchell.
I'm
Not
good
only
with
are
that.
I'm
you're
good with
getting
it
a
too.
huge exposure thing, and I'm just not even convinced Eli Mitchell's for sure the 2 there, and no one's
Yeah,
taking
no.
him in these.
No one's taking.
We're
Yeah,
running down
I've done that.
Pete, we
Oh,
have
my
to
bad.
take
My bad. Do you guys want to lock up Zay?
I think
I think
Jawan
Jennings.
is more important to the team.
Oh.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
Jawan is a Super Bowl piece potentially, and Zay can't be.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we have Detroit and San Fran as potential paths.
Correct.
Wait,
Right.
Yeah, I mean
Miami. Wait, how many Miami receivers do we have?
2. The only 2.
So it
now.
has to be San Fran. Oh, we only need two receivers. My bad.
We can
You-
field
it's
a
2 receivers
starting
and a
Super Bowl
flex.
lineup
And a
with
flex. So it
a
could-
single NFC piece.
Yeah, great. No, we couldn't. We couldn't fill the flex, right? But we could.
Yeah, we
could
could.
get close.
No, we're
No,
good.
that's
We'd
what
have
I'm saying. We
extra.
have 4, and then any NFC piece gives us
Any-
a viable
a-
Super Bowl
a
matchup
single.
with Miami.
I thought you said without a single. My
So
bad.
we're good, and we can
Yeah.
fill because the way we only had Achan, we could go. Actually, yeah, we're better if San Francisco makes it because we can only fill the flex with one of those 2 running backs,
Yeah.
and plus it's unlikely both would hit our flex anyway or hit our lineup.
You guys
anyway.
good with Zayd to land the plane?
Yes. You see
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
That's what. Oh yeah, no, we won't say.
I think, Pat, wouldn't you say construction wise, like roster allocation and setting up 4 conference championship teams, like not that this is a perfect team, but like this is about as good as
This
you
was
could
pretty
hope for
clean.
in a room. Yeah.
This was a pretty clean team because you can get there's a decent chance of Miami Jacksonville. I don't think it's super high of that being a conference championship game, but it's reasonable. And then it's the same with Detroit and San Francisco. It's more about those teams probably don't make the conference championship, but if they do, then it's pretty decent that they would play each other. So,
Right.
yeah, I think we did a good job there.
Nice.
Are we winning the? We got to be winning the Adams thing now, but you're doing something. That's fine.
Oh no, I was trying to name this team, but
Yeah.
I couldn't find it in here. Yeah, I think we're definitely and O'Connell went over too. Nice.
Nice. And
So
Adams
we got
is
Mayer.
sweet.
We got Adams is up by what?
All we need is the Easton Stick. rushing
Easton
play.
needs to
He's
start
in
running, man.
one time, and Gretch is getting the bell. What's up, Steph?
Hey guys, how are you?
You know,
Good.
doing pretty good.
Saw you say that you did play Myers, right? In your Scout Fish Bowl.
Yeah, we went against your advice. No.
Good. He scored. Nice.
Yeah,
What was your decision?
it was pretty much between like Addison and Myers for our last spot.
Tough.
No, that one's got Fishbowl. That was for our main event.
Oh, that was your main event.
Yeah, because we have Keenan and Nico on our team, and
I thought this game.
I don't think they're playing.
I thought this game would be so gross, and I thought, Myers gonna
Myers
throw a
again.
TD. We just threw a TD to Adam.
Oh, baby.
Wow.
Myers.
And I'm hoping people didn't play him so that we could get some leverage too, because we're pretty far back starting off.
Yeah, you probably did.
I mean,
I wouldn't
That's
have played him.
sick.
This was a 35 over under, and he only has 2 catches actually on the
well,
game.
once Jacobs was out, we're like,
He's throwing the ball.
they're probably going to have to throw the ball. And then I was like, Adams has been sick. Maybe he's not 100% still. And then, Addison is competing with Jefferson, and I don't trust Mullins that much either. So, I mean, both places had their flaws.
This is an insane game.
It-
Raiders are about to put up 70 in this game, you guys. They're at 49, and they're still throwing. They're like, we're having fun. Who cares?
But like you said, most of
Antonio
these
Pierce,
teams
man.
probably aren't making the playoffs, so they're just out there living life.
They're putting up 60 in this game. They only need 11 more points to put up 60. This is amazing.
This is pretty sweet.
I'm like really excited now about Jacoby, so I'm excited to see my leverage too. Hopefully,
I'm pumped for
Something
Easton
works out
Stick
here.
to do some.
and you
crazy-
guys also have Devonta Adams share going on one of your
Okay.
main event teams, so it helps both of us. See?
Yeah.
So
That's the Buckeye Boomers team is
Or sorry, that was prime time, not
yeah.
main event. Well,
But no, that's great. He's
That's so
Adams is
good,
having
yeah.
a great game for that for sure. Yeah, good point.
It's beautiful. Yep, we got our Buckeye Boomers off to a nice start there with Devontae.
Which is big because Keenan Allen missed. He was a big piece of that squad, but
Yeah.
Adams is kind of probably not a super high rostered player in that. It's not, and then it's a Bijan Adams start. So I mean, if Bijan goes off too, I think those two could really give us some leverage for sure.
gets the Carolina Panthers this week. Not too bad.
I mean, most of those teams that had those guys probably didn't advance because they really didn't have
right.
all that great of seasons, especially Bijan.
Yeah. Yeah, we recapped it a little bit at the top because we were looking at that mini-sodes team. But yeah, we were just once again doing a little victory lap, a little celebration on a great high stakes year. It's been fun now to have these playoff sweats going.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the teams did great. I mean, in the main event, one league pretty much everywhere except one team, I think. I mean, for all the ones that were in the mix there. So, I mean,
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
And it was truly a great year.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
our best year.
And I said, and I
had.
won my league too.
Yeah.
It's very fitting.
It's
You're a
beautiful.
huge part of our success this year.
And wait, so Steph, in Vegas, you drafted two teams live, right? One with G and Wu-Tang, a FFPC main event, and then you drafted the primetime with us, and both of those teams advanced to the sprint.
Hell yeah.
Look at you.
Boom.
Look at you.
And I
And-
mean, ours was a long shot to make it to the sprint. I mean, we were behind like 35 points, and there was like 4 teams within like 5 or 10 points, and most of them were ahead of us by at least a
Yeah.
few points. And we had a big week, and everyone else dudded out and at the right moment.
You're also going to win the Scott Fish Bowl. So what did you not dominate this year? Because it seems like you
mean,
dominated everything.
I had some pretty good best ball advance rates too, I must say.
Here we
But we'll
go.
see. After week
year of
15,
I'm pulling
It's
up
about
our
damn
team
time.
here. And now we get Stafford versus the Commanders. We get Gibbs against Denver. Breece Hall's heating up. Garrett Wilson's heating up. Debo is the gam of all gams. JSN's coming on. Kelsey breakout party in Foxborough.
Oh,
my
Joshua Palmer.
This is what we needed.
Bye. First play. This game just became a certified shootout, guys.
Just like we all predicted.
This is the back and forth second half scoring that you get when you get these games that really shoot out for you.
I'm starting to sweat this kicker lower, guys. So let's see. And we got Chase Brown on this team. I'm trying to think what other fun pieces we have here. We're loaded with some kickers and defense optionality. DeMario Douglas could be a thing last couple of weeks. Chase Brown, though, is who you're most excited about.
I mean, and Kelsey could still have a Kelsey week, and I doubt very many Kelsey teams made it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I think, something that could be huge leverage at some point. Hopefully.
He almost missed the extra point. He was like, if he would have missed the extra point, Pete, that would have been great.
I would have.
He's not getting there, but anyway.
Yeah, but this team, man, it was funny too because I was thinking, what we're saying, we had a really good year, and yet we had such heavy Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall bags that it's hard not to do the what if scenarios with, and yet here again, like what our team with Hassan and Blair, right? That has both Breece and Garrett Wilson, doesn't it? This team here has both Breece and Garrett Wilson. It's like we still dragged these Zach Wilson-ass teams to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I mean, we had – sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's just tough because, like, the what-ifs aren't, like, what if we had drafted differently, like, in this one spot. It's what if this horrible thing that, like, shouldn't have happened didn't happen, like, in real life. So that's what's annoying about it because they were such clearly the guys you wanted to have. Garrett Wilson is like a top 5 real life receiver right now. He's amazing.
Yep.
Well, this was also an Aaron Rodgers team originally when we drafted it too.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We got Stafford afterwards off the waiver wire. It was Geno, Rodgers.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited about Stafford this week. Like, I mean, how do you not get excited against the Commanders?
I mean, he's done great in his hard matchups, and it seems like he's finding his rhythm again. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited.
That was impressive.
It's a great spot.
For the Rams last week. Going into Baltimore like that and hanging in there. I thought that was impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was very impressive. Especially since everyone overreacted to the weather.
Oh, my God. Yeah. It's so funny. I think I used to probably be someone that did that, but I remember like we built a Lamar Jackson double stack on the Swolecast last week. And like the first comment was like all angry. It was like all caps. They're playing in a fucking tsunami. You idiots. Building out a Lamar Jackson double stack with Isaiah Likely and Odell Beckham would have finished top 10 in basically any single entry or 3max contest you put it in. But on a Wednesday, you got to worry about the weather patterns in Baltimore for a Sunday, fucking 4 days out.
Wait, that's the lineup you built?
What?
With the lineup that I built with you guys?
Yes. Yeah. It crushed. Yeah, it scored like 185 points or something.
God damn.
Yeah, I unfortunately.
Rice, Drake London, Lamar Jackson double stack. It was the nuts.
Yeah, my Lamar double had Bateman instead of Odell with Likely, so it did not do as well last week. But it started off okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't put Rice on it. I did the Zach Moss chalk and other chalk that failed.
Mm-hmm. I eventually ate the chalk. Even I was very hesitant to eat it, and then I ate the chalk. I held it up for a while. I'm not going to eat this. But I did.
So the score to this game is 49-7, and there's 9 minutes left in the third quarter.
So can they get over 70?
If they want to. If the Raiders wanted to score 70 tonight, they can. I feel confident saying that. They're still throwing too. God bless America.
God bless America.
But they're punting. And now is when the Easton Stick rushing comes in. They got a little juice. They got the TD. They're going to call some dropbacks. They're not going to just run. They're not going to quit right now. They will in like a few drives. This is where we get our rushes.
It is time. Have we gotten a single attempt? There was one time where I thought he took off and then it didn't.
He did. He got pushed out of bounds like at the line of scrimmage. It was annoying.
Yeah, because I remember in the preseason, I mean, I remember him running a lot and getting designed runs and stuff. And
I had the stat.
Not this
he
game.
rushed 28 times for 199 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Is that right? 5 touchdowns? That can't be right. Maybe I had
That was that the worst punt return I've ever seen? I think so. I'm thinking out loud. That was like he could have caught it. Then he tried to play it off the ground and like waited till it rolled a ton and then got nowhere. It was brutal.
Well, I now believe that Kellen Moore was the problem in Dallas after watching this game.
Man.
So, Steph, I'm going to bait you. There's a big debate on Twitter these days. Who is the MVP? Is it Brock Purdy or is it Dak Prescott?
It's Dak.
Where do you get your ideas, Steph?
I mean, I'm totally biased, except I have more Brock Purdy in my advancing team. So, but that doesn't win me any money, the MVP bet. So I'll go there. I should have taken those odds. I know, like, I heard Silva was on it like pretty early. He took some, I think he got some good Dak MVP lines early on. So
nice. Where are you guys at on that? Do you care? Do you have a take? Purdy versus Dak? I
took Dak at stealing lines at 20-1 or something. Not really early, but still quite earlier than now. So, and Dalton took Purdy the same week. We were talking about how it was wide open. So I am Team Dak. I need to be right and have Dalton be wrong. But we have our subs covered on both those bets at much longer odds than their current odds, which is great.
I think it's Dak. I mean, like, the spirit of the award, like, who is more important to their team? Like, I think it's pretty clearly Dak. He's, like, more important to the Cowboys than Purdy is to the 49ers. And that's not to take away, like, even if you – because one of the knocks on Purdy is that it's kind of a run-first team, run-heavy team. But even if you just look at, like, his expected points added per game, Purdy is higher than Dak in that. So, like, kind of volume adjusted, it's still Purdy and efficiency. But there's just, like – it's like Dak doesn't have a good running game. They both have really good defenses. And Dak attacks downfield a lot more and is just, like, better. You know what I mean? Like, he just is better than Purdy.
I think
he's using his legs.
Purdy's been really good, and we don't have to do the whole thing because, like, it's obviously a big thing, but to the extent that most valuable players, like the last quarterbacks we saw in this offense were good. Like when Jimmy G was in this offense middle last year before Purdy took over, he was good in this offense, right? Like even the guys when Jimmy G was out before that, Nick Mullins and stuff, these guys were good. Like,
and people seem to take it like two things can be true. Dak can be more valuable and Brock Purdy can be playing out of his mind and be much better than a Jimmy Garoppolo or whoever else. Like both those things can be true.
Yeah.
Like, people seem to not want to acknowledge that.
Yeah. I've been kind of pro Purdy in this whole debate. I would say not like this part of the debate, but obviously, but like the Purdy discourse for most of the year, I've been in the pro Purdy camp and I was kind of in the anti Jimmy camp. Which is probably that's probably a small Venn diagram of anti-Jimmy pro Purdy people. But I'm not. This isn't to knock Purdy. Purdy's played awesome. You can only like he's doing what he's being asked to do, and he's good. So like, is he being helped by Shanahan? Like, very much so. Is he being helped by his weapons? A lot. But like, also he's playing really well. So he's not like I don't think like anyone can come in here and do what Purdy's doing at. Like, I really don't think that's the case. It's just that, like, Dak's having an incredible season. And they're putting the offense on his shoulders in such a, like, to me, like, that's – I was kind of into Josh Allen before, well, I mean, actually, Josh Allen is still a pretty interesting bet if they run the table. But like, I kind of prefer the guys where it's, like, the whole offense really truly depends on them. And I don't feel like you can say that about Purdy.
I agree with your note that Purdy, no one could just step in and do as well as Purdy. I do think a lot of QBs could step in and do very well. You have, I think, the best skill position
Jimmy
group
proves that.
in probably 20 years, probably since the Rams. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk is a legit number 1 X receiver now. And Christian McCaffrey and Deebo give you schematic edges and everything. You have the best play caller as well in the NFL right now. And then you also have George Kittle at tight end. Like that is it's not just like it can't go overstated how fucking good all the players around him. He has the best left tackle in the NFL at the same time, which is the second highest paid position, I think, on offense besides quarterback. I mean, they have so much fucking talent on offense. It's crazy.
Here's kind of an interesting one, though, because I think if Matthew Stafford was the quarterback for the 49ers, he would win MVP. I don't know that he would be any more efficient than Purdy is, though.
Yeah, that's fair. Someone made a point about how a lot of times the first year a guy does it doesn't get bought in, but if Purdy does this again next year, he could win MVP.
Then he'll win MVP.
Then he'll win. And
for the same
Stafford's
with a slightly less efficient year, he could win MVP.
Right, with a less efficient year. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy, if I had a vote, it wouldn't be either of these guys right now. It would be Tyreek Hill. I legitimately think we should be giving MVP to a non-quarterback this year. Not just like to make a statement. Like I think this year he's been the most valuable player. I don't think Tua's bad, but I do think Tyreek Hill is clearly more valuable to their offense than Tua even is. And I think he's the most valuable player probably in the entire NFL. Obviously the quarterback's the most valuable position, and it's like, like war chart is ever going to show that, but like you can't do more than what Tyreek's doing. And there's no quarterback really running away with it on the other end.
It should be like the distance between like that quarterback and Andy Dalton or something like that. Like what would Joe Flacco do in this offense compared to this guy? Or maybe Dalton's a better example, but
I don't know if there's any receiver that can do what Tyreek does in Miami. Like he's a very unique chip for them. There's obviously a lot of other really good receivers, but the way they use him and use his speed specifically, certainly not down to an Andy Dalton or Joe Flacco level receiver. You would be like, yeah, Tyreek's making a massive difference.
There's nothing about Tyreek's game that's ever going to show up on an Ian Hartitz like highlight reel of being like, this is why PPR scoring is dumb. Like every play he makes is actually impactful to the game of football and moving the chains and creating explosive plays and scoring opportunities.
Someone noting Mahomes won it.
Last week showed that.
That's I think different. Someone had mentioned that, if Purdy was a first-round pick, he would win MVP. I agree with that. I think
do too. Yeah.
He would. Yeah. I don't think it would be close. Like if he was a first-round pick, if he was drafted like where Mac Jones was, he would be the MVP, and we wouldn't really. It'd be like, well, obviously it's Purdy.
Yeah.
I saw someone say Wilson.
Underdog just waved the white flag on trying to create.
Unreal.
Their algorithm like literally must not have had inputs for a game with this kind of disparity heading into the second half. They just called it.
Wow.
And have you ever seen that before? I don't play pick'ems enough to know.
I've never seen
how
when we've
rare
done
this
the
is.
show. Nothing. Sometimes they wait for some injury stuff to shake out or whatever, but never just blanket nothing in there.
Nothing across the board on any players.
Yeah. So we do still have a sweat, and it all comes down to Easton Stick.
I mean, we could pull up our high stakes teams and sweat those in our best ball again.
So one of the chats said we should be doing the baseline level, the replacement level should be called WWJFD. What would Joe Flacco do?
Hey, Joe Flacco helped me win my league. I had to start him week 13 because we have a Lamar team. So
yeah,
I know
he's a competent
make fun
baseline.
of Joe Flacco, and I'm like, he's legit.
I think.
Why couldn't the Jets keep him?
Chargers social media team is apparently having a little fun here.
Yeah.
We
just laughing at that.
That's it. Just we scored.
That's so good because they know they're gonna get dunked on and everything, but it's just like dunk on us.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Imagine having to put out this graphic. Like, hey, at the end of each quarter, our social media team, you got to put out the graphic with the score. They're like, all right, 21
Oh,
nothing.
those fucking lightning bolts just look.
Lightning
They're kind of fucked up at this point.
Here we go. It's at the half. Here is a play when we were down 42 nothing.
No, the lightning bolts seem kind of fucked up.
They should really be showing the defense when you're down 42 nothing, not the ball in your hand. Ball wasn't really in your hands much, was it?
I love the Raiders, dude. Like, what is their pass rate right now? Like, they are just ripping it.
They are, man. Antonio. Oh, so have we talked about this on the show? Where this guy, he was on the 2007 Giants that won the Super Bowl, and he upset. I don't know how this guy ended up on Josh McDaniels' coaching staff, being a member of the Giants team that beat his Patriots in the first place. But he brought up the example of, basically we need to be like a team that sticks together, that nobody believes in us, in his team speech right before McDaniels got fired. And he said we need to be like the Giants who upset the undefeated Patriots team. Now he's sending a coded message to the team that's like, fuck Josh McDaniels. Like, that's the subtext of, like, we need to be like the Giants that upset the cocky Patriots coached by this guy. And the team hated Josh McDaniels, so they fully resonated with the team. And then McDaniels got super pissed off. And Mark Davis is like, team loves this guy, Antonio Pierce. I got to fire McDaniels and make him head coach. Like, what a savvy move. I love it.
To answer our question about the Raiders, I just saw this tweet. Antonio Pierce was asked at halftime what he told his team about the second half, and he said, press the gas pedal even harder. Can you imagine if
I love this guy.
And numbers for the Raiders in the underdog lobby? That's why they couldn't hang it. They're like, Antonio Pierce is ready to drop a hundo.
He's ruining our pick'ems.
He ruined our axes.
They should have made so much money. I mean, people had to have bet the unders starting off on this game, aside from us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they should be like, have already made a killing that it didn't matter and could put out whatever.
All right, this is the drive that will forever be known as the Easton Stick rushing drive. We'll come up with a more clever name for it, but it will be known as something along those lines.
The stick shift.
How much mayor do you guys have?
Oh, I like it. Drive to survive. The stick shift.
I think we have mayor on a few teams on the bench.
You need a shift. This asshole hasn't even tried to run. Let's go. All we need is them to drop into some coverage and him to have room to step up and run right up the middle, and he'll have like 20 yards to run, and we'll win it on one play.
We need Easton Stick to have some kind of like lobotomy or brain transfusion with Mitch Trubisky and just turn into YOLO Easton Stick. Take the game into your own hands. Forget whatever bullshit Staley has told you. It's time to run for 100 yards, buddy. I'll take 19.5, but 100 is our goal.
19.5 is the most important number to hit, but 100 for you, man. That's me rooting for you.
Yeah.
Think you could turn off his headset? No.
Now there's Big Dick Stick.
And Big Hawk Brock. Sorry, I don't know what Bella. What's got? She doesn't usually bark that much. I mean, she does when she's like sees things, but I'm not sure what she's barking at right now. I think somebody's making some noise in the hallway.
Bella's on guard.
Fun of. Oh yeah, she's definitely.
The people want Bella. Dog. The people want her. She feeling up for a little limelight tonight?
She may. Here, let me see if I can.
We might not be ringing the bell, but we're going to ring the bell tonight at the very least.
Ring the bella. We have a shot, right? We need the kicker under and the rushing over, and we're there.
I mean, we definitely have a shot. I might have to take a rain check on actually ringing the bell, as Pat has a big yawn. Dude, like, these games are legitimately winding down a lot of times at this time.
Why is it so long?
I don't know. You would think they haven't even been running the ball that much.
It's true. They're passing nonstop.
What's the score? Check the Chargers' social media account.
I could use some more Michael Mayer points for my my best ball bags.
I do, Pat. You would have been nice if we got the a Spiller number. Probably just gonna ride him this entire second half.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have tilted if we did the Quentin Johnston because that's like the one play. Just hope it's Johnson and it was Palmer.
Bella's being stubborn. She thinks I'm up to something. I tried to coax her with the tree, and now she thinks like I'm trying to trick her. She's very
Bella,
into it. She thinks you're trying to do anything. Usually I am. Usually it involves like grooming of some sort, and she knows ahead of time that you're thinking of doing something, and she will not have any part of it.
Pat, what if you just started narrating the walkthrough just on the show concurrently, and it would save me having to listen to some of it tomorrow, and you just start narrating it for the last. It would just save all of us a lot of time, I think.
But then I'd have nothing to do on my morning drive to work.
Well, unless you're working Saturday, I don't think you're going to have it the morning drive this week. I'm not done writing it. So, yeah, I announced in the walkthrough as part of announcing that Sacrilegious is going to be writing for Legendary Upside and sending out his first article today. I also snuck in a PS that the walkthrough is wildly late. So I'm going to get that I'm hoping to get it all written tonight and then go to sleep.
No, you don't have it written yet?
No, I've not written 5 games. I need to write up the last 5 games. I've only written up through the early window.
Can I give you a pro tip? I mean, you know this too. You can save the Sunday night and Monday night stuff for a second edition. All anyone cares about right now is the main slate.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that's I still need to write up 3 more games.
No, I'm trying to cut off 2 games from your workload.
I know, but I can't. The thing is, like, in order to get it done by a reasonable hour with the narration, I would need to start narrating as soon as the game's over. So I can't. I'm not gonna. It doesn't really matter. Basically, I'm gonna start narrating tomorrow.
Dude, Easton.
And the narrating like doubles as my edit.
Yeah.
But there was a legendary upside article out today. So, you know.
Yeah, I'm excited to read that.
I watched your
pod too.
Yeah, I was like, I just finished the pod you guys put out. It was really good stuff.
Yeah, it's a fun game because it's like the sort of like the punishments for veering like truly off course are your team is dead. So it's like it's kind of like trying to keep in the week 17 stuff in your head, but like if you don't, like you won't win the tournament.
All right, let me ask you guys
a few finals teams.
Let me ask you a sick question as the Chargers are driving here. Logic would say they should absolutely not attempt a single field goal the rest of the game. That's what all logic, every single number in the world would say. Would the Chargers, this iteration of this dumbass team, kick a field goal tonight?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they would.
No, they always go for it on 4. So tonight's the one night they decide.
Dude,
Staley's been kind of a coward sometimes.
He's letting the kicker rip it.
You throw. I mean, the thing is, though, that type of stuff goes out the window when you're down by 42. Run! No, don't run backward.
Oh. Was that really a fumble? Man, that's a fat guy touchdown.
Oh God, we got the big boy TD. He ran the wrong way.
Was that a fumble?
I want to see the winning showdown live. It's got to be so crazy.
Okay, somehow I wasn't on live again.
One of the single entries right now.
You are? Nice.
Yeah.
What's that? What's the top price?
Aiden O'Connell, captain. Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Michael Mayer, Zamir White, and then Easton Stick as the one charger.
Oh, come on.
What contest?
The 20K red zone.
Nice.
Aiden O'Connell, captain. Jacoby, Devontae, Zamir White, Easton Stick, and what else?
And Mayer. So basically the entire starting
my
Raiders
God.
offense with just Easton.
And so Onslaught was not very popular tonight.
No, but this is a small contest. Only 454 entries.
That helps.
56. I can't.
Yeah. 2 weeks in a row, we would have been completely wrong trying to guess the scores here.
But it's funny that this is like we've gotten over 60 points scored in this game, and it stinks.
Yeah, it still doesn't feel very exciting at all.
It never was good. This game was never good.
Yeah.
I kind of liked when Jacoby was throwing passes.
Well, that was fun. There's been fun moments.
Yeah, I'm like, we should do that more. I mean,
We should do that.
just saying.
Man.
So I haven't been paying that much attention, honestly. Does QJ have anything?
I think he had one catch.
He caught a pass. So it's the second best game of the year.
Both with Easton Stick?
Who's the second quarterback on the Chargers roster right now?
It's a good question.
Max Duggan.
Not new.
Max Duggan.
Yeah, he led TCU to the national title game last year and then got absolutely destroyed by Georgia. It was about as big of a blowout as this game.
Oh man.
So that's the last time he played in an official game. He'll be very comfortable with his scoreline.
Do you think anyone can fix the Chargers at this point?
Yeah. I mean, you got Herbert.
The national title was 63-7. Is it 63-7 right now? Is it the same score as Max Duggan's last game right now?
Oh, is this it?
Oh,
They
yeah.
together?
Oh, like how did we like? And I feel really embarrassed being obviously down the street from TCU.
Pete, look up his mugshot.
Max?
Yeah.
Is it a good one? All right.
No, he's just.
Oh wow.
He's
Looks
another
like
ginger.
Straight out of Harry Potter or something.
Yeah.
This is the guy who's gonna save our QJ bags.
Oh, boy.
Wasn't Andy Dalton also TCU? What is it with the gingers out of TCU? Like, I'm pretty sure Andy Dalton went
Ginger
to TCU.
QBs and bust wide receivers. What a great university.
Oh, man. Yeah, he looks like a guy out of Harry Potter. That's the right way of putting it. For sure.
I don't know. That doesn't instill a lot of confidence.
I also think this guy has some crypto.
Look at that! Look at that stash. Oh man! No, come on, Max.
Gretch, who's my profile picture again?
Steve Emptman. We just had our we had a Heisman finalist, Michael Penix, our quarterback.
Yeah.
He was the second Heisman finalist in University of Washington history. Who was the first? Steve Emptman.
Yeah. That's why he's my PFP.
He was a Heisman finalist as a defensive tackle. Guy was a
That's
beast.
sick. Let Easton cook.
Good damn it.
All right. What
Now
would
I'm
you
gonna
guys
look up-
if the Easton number in our 5 leg was, I think he's at 2 rushing yards right now. If it was set at 4, what would you rather have, higher or lower rest of the game?
Easton Stick rushing?
Yeah, so it's basically our same.
I would take the over on 4.
I think I would take the under. He just seems to be like releasing
Sounds like
the ball
I said a good
so
line.
quick. He's been dropping back and throwing.
See how easy that was, Underdog? See how easy that was?
As soon as he hits his back foot, he's releasing the ball. And then the one time he tried to extend a play, he got absolutely rocked and fumbled. This dude's not extending a play the rest of the game. It's going to be a disaster. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I think the lower is the correct side, but it would be such a miserable sweat.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
It's going to be a lot of handoffs and a lot of quick passes.
This is the point we're at. Sealant says Duggan is a better runner. Too bad it's not Chargers QB rushing over 19.5.
Oh, man.
You know what? Now that he says that, I'm surprised some of these sites haven't done that. You know how people they like insurance, they want the, voided or whatever. Like they can, it's just a math thing, right? To just be like Chargers QB, whatever, or you could do, team kicker points for if someone I'm surprised they don't do that because I bet it would encourage even more action. Just
there's a lot of concern about injuries or in-game benchings or all that kind of stuff. For sure. Yeah, that would be great.
I don't know if they can, right? Because it's like I don't know that you could.
Is that a regulatory thing?
Well, do you know what? Maybe.
Yeah, because that's basically it's like it's almost a side or something.
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
That guy who scored the big man TD, John Jenkins, CBS Sports just had this 11th NFL season, 34 years old. He's played 130 games, 6 different teams. Just scored his first touchdown.
What?
Oh yeah, man.
He hit 24 miles per hour, faster than Chase Brown on that.
That's really fast.
Someone's pulling your leg.
I'm pulling your guys'
The
leg.
Raiders, we should
I
be
was
able to...
like, holy.
I got eyes, bro. I did not see 24 miles an hour on that play.
I wasn't paying attention, so I was like, really?
Honestly, next gen should do something like that that's vaguely believable because people just so blindly eat that stuff up. Even if they're like, he hit 19.6 miles per hour on that scoop and score. Big dude was moving.
I mean, I should know better. I used to work with
on the line.
I know weight related, there's no way. It's like weight adjusted. There's a reason that big guys, percentage of doing things is different.
Saints Rams, God help us. I haven't confirmed this, but just because we do need a pick me up. Earlier in the offseason, Cooter Doodle couldn't make the Saints one.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
We might see Max.
How do you spell Max Duggan?
I just wanted that point for my Austin Eckler sweat for my stupid home league. I was like, hey, I'm going to get an Austin Eckler reception. Nope. Eckler has
is so bad.
3 catches.
How many times do you think Max Duggan was drafted in Bestball Mania?
Stop it.
No.
How many
Just
times?
Nobody drafted him.
I bet someone drafted him once for the bit. Was
it in Superflex?
No, this is Bestball
I mean,
Mania.
I took some gross stuff. Oh my God.
7
no
times.
way.
He was drafted twice by 2 different people.
Who are these people?
Did they graduate from TCU?
Oh, for sure.
It's a 5 quarterback team.
I'm pulling this up on screen, Pat. Are you on BDMD? I want to see these sick individuals.
Wait, and this person advanced.
No.
Wait, are these?
No, they didn't.
They finished in 644,000th place.
Oh, thank God.
I mean, when you have the whole Brock Purdy, DJ Stroud, you can't always use a little Max.
Oh, yeah, look. Another Kendra went to TCU. This guy's a homer.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the all TCU team. Look at this robust build. Oh my god!
How many advancing Easton
Three
Stick
wide
teams do you think there are?
receivers.
6th round. This guy took Max Duggan in the 6th round.
And then he
One of the
scooped up
two
the
picks.
A-Rich value. Jesus.
One of the two
What's
Max
going
Duggan
on?
was in the 6th round.
This is how Pat won Bestball Mania. It wasn't even that impressive. This is who he's competing against.
He took 3 fucking receivers. There's 7, 8 running backs on this team.
How many?
Well,
how
look,
many
he's
Easton
also a
Stick teams do you
Cowboys
think
fan.
advanced?
Oh my god.
Chase Brown, though, pretty nice pick. I think he was using the leg up rankings with these Zeke, Chase Brown, and then Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, he wasn't using the leg up positional recommendations though.
His dog chewed up the wide receiver port.
He accidentally clicked on the leg up dynasty ranks when he was in the 6th round. He's like, ooh, Max Duggan, good 6th round pick.
This does seem like it maybe should have been
The
canceled
people
if
saying
he
it didn't
was.
pass the intent. Literally, Max Duggan is the only rogue pick by ADP.
Yeah, it might have been
What
just
other
Fields
pick
is
is-
pretty wild.
Which one?
the build.
Just
is
the
wild.
overall build.
Oh,
Three
the build
receivers.
is nuts.
Yeah.
I'm saying it makes sense to me why this one wouldn't get flagged.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And it does
These are
technically
mostly all
meet the
fine
roster
picks.
requirements.
There's nothing about this that's like it ruined everything for
I would-
everyone else, other than all the running backs.
Well, I don't know. Let's look at the draft.
If you guys are throwing out drafts for someone going 3.5 rounds ahead of ADP, you're gonna have no contest next year. Higbee at 10-6 is completely okay.
Romeo Dobbs in the 13th round, nice value pick on your wide receiver too. I just want to say he was more like an 11th round pick. You know, you get him in the 13th. That's great.
You guys are Singletary pretty rogue, much better pick at 8-6 than Devin Singletary a round before that. Keep trying, guys.
Wait,
Then who around before that?
then who around before that?
No, I'm saying his teammate who he outscored was going around
Oh.
before him.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Damian Pierce. Yeah.
Easton Stick
I-
advanced twice, guys. There's
That
2
picks-
advancing Easton
All right,
Stick
I want to
teams.
go look at Easton Stick teams.
This team's pretty good. They're both by the same guy. They're pretty goddamn good teams.
Yeah.
How many
Two by the
quarterbacks does he
same
have?
guy. Bestball
He's got
Viper is
three-
one of the
three quarterback
grinders
builds.
too.
Honestly, he has the Daniel Jones, CJ Stroud, Easton Stick team. He needs Stick. This Stick is his
He got
starting quarterback.
Keenan, Mike Williams,
Wow.
and he didn't get Herbert, so he went with Easton Stick.
Yep.
This
that
guy is
right?
more like quarterbacks than most teams.
He was trying to get Herbert in the 6th. He went Keenan 4. Same thing here. Keenan 4,
It
and
didn't work, but-
he misses on Herbert, and then he goes Eckler, Keenan 1st and 4th. He misses on Herbert. He comes back with Easton Stick. That's kind of interesting. If you miss your stack, take the backup QB really late.
Yeah.
The thing is, you just build another stack. Like I've got
Oh,
teams like that.
yeah.
Teams that are saved by doing this with like 49ers, where I got
This
stuck
guy-
on Purdy.
15 out of 66.
I mean,
22.7% advance rate. Now I want to see how many Chargers he has. He has to have so many. He strikes me as a Chargers guy. Maybe not.
I mean, Pat, if you did that with Aiden O'Connell, you'd be pretty pumped right now. If you had Jacoby Myers, Devontae Adams, and Aiden O'Connell, you'd be like, yeah,
That's
I'm
true.
advanced.
How many Aiden O'Connell teams are there? We already looked this up. I think we already did, but
yeah.
Run it,
This is such
Easton. Run. All right, first down.
He has no desire to run.
Moves the sticks. He actually stood in the pocket a little bit there.
dude, how pissed would you be if you were in a pod with one of these 33 Aiden O'Connell teams?
Dude.
Pete, all we need is the 19 rushing yards. If he
I
goes
haven't
off,
looked at my pods.
That's it.
We could be.
if he gets
That's
off for
all
a
we
20-yard
need.
run, we get there. This game will have been worth something.
He just doesn't.
Wait, did Aiden O'Connell go over on our?
Stop
Yeah.
running the football.
A while
Really? I thought
ago.
it was 200.
241.
Oh.
Everything's
Uh,
here. We just need
This is
You know,
yes. Only
18 measly little rushing yards from Easton Stick.
Oh, he already has 2. Look at that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good enough. We're
We also
10%
have
of the
Gerald
way there.
Everett, who's slowly
They went run pass last time. I think they're probably doing that again, but
How about this, guys? How many, if I do with 2 QBs, how many 2 QB AOC teams do you think there are advancing?
Oh, there better be
Wow.
none. That's sick. That is sick.
There's got to be some. Of the 33, I bet there's 8 2 QBs.
2.
Two.
So, genetic freaks with a Russell Wilson, ain't no cuddle. Imagine seeing this
What?
team in your pod. You're like AOC, J.K. Dobbins, Keenan Allen.
He's got Adams too.
And he's got Zamir White too.
Oh,
God, he played in this game.
God.
Oh,
He
dude.
played for this game.
This
Oh
guy
my-
gets the what if
wow.
week 15 is all that matters.
Holy
Run!
shit.
Run! Run!
Go, Easton! Go!
Run, dude.
No! Yes! Keep running!
Oh,
Or was that?
That was only like 12.
No, yeah, he didn't get
he
enough.
could have run more.
It was
He
3rd
slid.
and
He-
4. He only got like 12. I want to say, man, he could have gone.
Oh my dude, but this is what
Yes.
don't let this guy get hot. I'll tell you
Don't
right
let
now,
him get
Raiders,
hot, baby.
do
That was
not
only
let
9.
Yeah.
him get hot.
He only got 9 there.
That
But we
was
got
9.
9
It
more.
felt like 30. Watch.
Okay, one more.
Felt like
One more
30,
run.
man.
Just
There's
one more
so
of
much
those.
space.
He needs to bring it back.
Oh man, I thought it was
He's in a
more than
groove.
five.
He felt how that
Yeah.
felt good.
Wind
to him,
in
like-
his hair, for sure.
Yeah.
Easton,
Oh, yeah. Run. Go. Go.
Ah.
Like I bobbled it and then just got shoved down.
God. Guys, Easton's not very good.
That was a that was a
Pat, we know. I want to look at this other team.
Oh,
199
that Raiders
years of
pick was
solitude.
incredible.
What's this
See,
team?
a Josh Allen, Aiden O'Connell pairing makes a little bit more sense. Although, is there not a single Raider on this team other than Aiden?
Did you guys see the Raiders pick? I missed
There's
that.
barely any Bills.
One-handed it.
He stacked him with Dawson Knox. I don't see a single other Bill.
Run it. Run it. Oh, just run it. Oh, Eckler catch. There we go. We'll take those points.
Okay, yeah, we'll take a first down.
and there's some New England guys, so he did try to maybe get some week 17 on the Bills. I don't know. Probably an accident.
Genetic freaks.
You know what we need? We need him to get down in the scoring range, and I think he might scramble in the red zone because you get everything gets shrunk down, you know. You get the quarterback rushing in the red zone.
For the audio listeners, Genetic Freaks is the name of the team that drafted Russell Wilson and Aiden O'Connell.
Yes.
It just occurred to me that I just said that.
Doesn't it kind of illuminate for you guys how massive this contest is that I can be like, show me an AOC advancing team with 3 other quarterbacks for a 4 total quarterback build, and then just a guy just pops up with one of those?
Yeah.
That's kind of insane.
Totally
That
does
advanced.
exactly what you said. Yeah, that advanced. Yeah, Jesus.
Were there any Brandon Bolden teams?
Huge. Brandon
Bolden?
There might be Brandon Bolden teams. I bet there's Brandon Bolden teams.
Let's go, Easton.
2nd and 10. There we go. Drop back.
Tuck it, buddy.
Run it. Wow, that's a good pass. Easton's
Oh.
feeling it. Down to the 12. Now he needs a rushing TD to cap this off.
Wait,
Let's go.
is this real? Only 3 total Brandon Bolden teams? Of all the crazy shit, people are out here drafting Max Duggan, but not Brandon Bolden?
But not Brandon
That's
Bolden.
wild.
I feel like Brandon Bolden is justifiable on at least 100 rosters.
Right. Just too boring of a player,
Sure.
though. Everyone is like, yeah, I mean, it's justifiable, but he's Brandon Bolden.
The size queen, though, said, I got to get this.
Amir Abdullah was drafted 16 times and advanced twice.
Okay. Go.
But he was like last year even he
Whoa.
was a big actual 0 RB guy. So I mean that would make
One.
sense. A little more.
Erickson. Danny Kelly's call. Erickson with the TD.
Wow. Let's see if he was drafted.
Erickson. Now,
I don't
that
think he was in the
good.
player pool.
I was going to say, I don't. How do you? Is that how you spell it?
No, he's not
Eric?
in.
Yeah.
No, I think it's with a K.
I think it's CK. But I don't think he's in there.
No. Fix your site, Patrick. I want to be able to query for this guy.
He's not. I don't think he was in the under.
Maybe he's not in the underdog pool.
So they got
No,
an onside kick.
DraftKings pissed me off. They had a lot of guys not in the pool that I wanted to draft.
Are they going for 2 here? Come on. Are they worried Cameron's leg's gonna fall off if he doesn't use it? They're just gonna, hey, we gotta let him get out here, otherwise
We gotta let the guy.
might have to amputate it.
So what's the weirdest player you guys have on a team advancing?
That's a good question. How would I look for that? Just go through.
I didn't know if you've already like looked through your teams, like and just had
The weirdest player I advanced.
Well, you can look at your exposures.
I'm pretty
that's a
sure I
good point.
advanced
Look at my exposure.
a Rojo team, which is fun.
I guess it'd be like looking at like one of your worst teams. Ah, geez, this team sucks.
All right. So my exposures. Let's see.
Yeah,
I have one Alan Lazard BBM team.
I drafted Ronald Jones one time, and that team advanced.
Well, yeah, no shit. That's how it works.
18th round, Ronald Jones. I had a wild hair one time, and it advanced.
Pat, do you see? I only used. I mean, I posted this clip, but I only used the emojis a couple times when naming my BBM teams. This one here that just bubbled up to the top, BBB with Pat Crane, the trash emoji, because this was the Zeke team. This was the team.
This is the Zeke team. Amazing.
Hated. It also had Odell Beckham, Michael Thomas. Who does it have right now? Oh, it has Adams, 18.9 points. But it's a Lamar and Dak team.
Wow,
pretty good, dude.
No Josh.
What were those tight ends?
I have a Rojo team too.
Taysom and Ferguson.
This was
I advanced the
classic-
Deion Jackson team.
That is pretty gross.
No, I have a Ronald Jones team as well.
Nice.
Oops.
Not even kidding.
I advanced the Marvin Jones.
And
puppy.
Malik
Marvin
Davis.
Jones. That's a good one. Malik Davis.
Oh yeah, no, I know I have a couple Marvin Jones.
I advanced
I have Robbie Chosen.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, I have a Justin Ross team. That's embarrassing.
Oh, I have a lot.
I have a Corey Davis team.
And I drafted an Allen Robinson share with Herzig. Ooh, that's gross.
I have 2 Allen Robinson teams. One of them is a Bulldog.
Sean Tucker. There's one for Pat.
Oh,
Little
yeah.
Robert Woods action.
Yeah, I blame Pat for those two.
Man, only one.
Oh, I advanced the Justin Ross team too.
Hey, Robert Woods. There's no one left. He's not the worst guy to have.
I advanced to Trey Lance team. Is that thing? Is that dead?
Oh wow.
I know my DK ones were actually weirder. I was looking at those. My highest advancing quarterback is Anthony Richardson over there, and my highest tight end over here is, of course, Mark Andrews. So that's fun.
Who are you guys? What's your highest advancing player in your advanced exposures?
Mine's Chris Godwin. Actually, it's tied with Keenan Allen, Ty Chandler, and AJ Dillon. That's gross. But I only have 18 teams. I only did 100 teams. So.
My highest wide receiver is Marvin Mims, guys.
I think mine is
he's my second. My highest is Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, then Marvin. My highest player is Warren.
Nice.
Is my highest. And then I have Warren, Keenan Allen, and Mostert, and Mims, A-Chain, and Mark Andrews are like my top 5 there, it looks like. So half of them are dead.
IU, Samuel Bateman, Allen, and Jay.
No, yeah, Bateman's pretty close.
Yeah.
We were all
Bateman
on the same wavelength.
Oh, this game's still. Oh my God, there's still 8 minutes left in this game.
You guys want to do another gauntlet draft?
Yeah,
sure.
I haven't done any playoff yet, but sure.
All right.
I mean, I played plenty
Waiver
last year.
chasing team.
Let's go.
Here comes the punt. Chargers defenders are holding up the fist. 4th down.
So I have no idea how ADP's been going, but so this will be really interesting.
Three TD night for Stick, not bad. Oh, that's great.
63-14. Imagine if any of us saw this score before tonight, our heads would have spun.
He's going to lead his second garbage time TD drive right here. Rush for 12 more yards. What does he need? 9 more yards? Oh, don't
my
run
God.
back.
9.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Speed up the game.
Speed
Oh,
up the
flag.
game.
They held the punter. I'm pretty sure they held the
There's
punter.
a flag. Oh.
God.
I should just let that one go. Like, give them a touchdown. I feel bad for them.
Was that on the punter? Or was the punter being held? Because that's hilarious if it is true. Yeah, he held the punter. He held the punter.
Yeah.
This game has gone the over in this game was 34. It's gone over it twice. All right. McCaffrey, Lamb, Hurts. Maybe you could do a different part of the game tree here than Debo. You want to do like the Kelsey Mahomes thing?
I mean,
Yeah.
how far can we push Mahomes? Yeah, we can grab Kelsey. Does he go
Yeah,
always in the
we-
second, or can we push him out to like the third? Or
No.
Well,
you basically can,
this room's pretty
you can
sharp.
do what he's about to do, double tap the 49ers, or you can do Mahomes or
do you,
Hurts is there,
I
you
wouldn't
can
be
try to
opposed
do that.
trying it. You want to take AJB and try to push him?
He won't come back because you can pair him with the CMC guy, can pair up Mahomes.
All right,
And then
I'll
Mahomes
trust
will.
you, I guess. All right.
Just put the condom on. All right.
So where does like Hurts and Dak go? Because like in case you passed it and did the other side, like I was gonna like we could have taken like Pollard or something, and then bet on like either Mahomes or Dak coming back.
You got your punt returner taking it all the way to the house, and you hold the punter. He's like an open field. The punter's not running him down. You can just run to the sideline and get around him. What are you doing? Oh my God.
So funny.
He held the fucking punter.
That was really obvious.
I don't think I've ever seen a guy hold a punter.
I was like, no.
I don't think I've ever seen a holding call on the punter. I'm sure it's happened, but I can't remember it. That was hilarious.
No, I don't remember it either.
Sorry, what were you guys talking about? We started Kelsey Mahomes.
Started Kelsey Mahomes.
Yeah.
There was a debate of maybe we could have tried to push Mahomes, but it's interesting. I wonder if he maybe would have come back.
So, what other teams are we looking at here? What do we want to pair him with?
What was it, Pacheco?
Well, you do Pacheco here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how early Pacheco was going.
What is Pacheco's health status? Is there any word
That's what I was
that
going to say. I was like,
this
is he
more-
coming back? Could he go on IR?
There's still 4 weeks of games, right? I mean, there's a long time until the first round of playoff. And he's like not at any risk of losing his work to CEH or anything like that. Like, and the Chiefs aren't going to get the 1 seed. Like, this is a team that can win from the wild card game all the way to the Super Bowl pretty easily, and you have their 3 best players now. Probably.
Oh yeah, this is
So
easily.
this would do you risk
I mean, we're
losing
good at-
Rashi
good at
here,
that.
or do you just grab Rashi, or do you grab?
I
him
think
on
you just
Raw?
grab Rashi.
That's what I'm. Because otherwise, there's no
Just keep
real
stacking. Yeah,
nice
it's fine.
NFC pieces to grab.
Yeah,
other
I
than
mean, you
Amon
could do
Ra.
Amon-Ra, but I would do Rashi, I think.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
he's got to be a big
I mean,
part
we're
of
going to
it.
have a strong enough team at this point. I mean, just on the side that we could figure something out on the other side.
Man. Stick one time, brother.
Let's run the ball.
One time, Easton. I will say that's like the only positive thing about this game is it's just drunk in a way where we don't have to worry about them just throwing the ball or running the ball, 20 times to like in the game, like some teams would. They're just put them in shotgun. Come on, Easton, do it for the vibes, man.
This is going to be a run. What are they
Oh
doing?
my God, was that a little RPO there?
God, if that was
Dude,
a little read option, he had it.
Back,
yeah, he might have scored. They should after they saw that. You think Kellen Moore's like, ooh, I got a play called dial up here. We're gonna make this 63-21.
I'm telling you, there was no defender on the outside there. Easton was taking it to the house.
That was a straight handoff, but if it would have been,
he was ringing the bell there. All right, they're dialing it up again.
Do it again. They're doing the pull.
Get it.
Pull it.
Oh my! I just
what?
Dude, they're setting it up.
Yeah. Kelly's like, all right, I'll just run to where you were going to run. I mean, it's wide open. So what are we doing the NFC side?
Yeah, we need.
I was going to say Ferg Daddy because there's other Dallas
Yeah,
pieces
yeah.
you can do.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Is Cook still here? No, he won't.
I like it. Yeah, let's
Of
let's
course
go
you
down.
like it. You're a
Of
huge
course.
Dallas. we could get Dowdle, right?
Dowdle's a
Yep.
good pick.
Well, we don't.
Go
I mean, if we even need a sec, we don't really necessarily need a second running back, but we could. I
No,
mean,
we
could
definitely. You wouldn't go with less than 2 running backs. It doesn't have to. I mean, I'm generally. Pat, have you done any 2 running back teams? You normally 3.
No, I do plenty of 2 running back teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
do.
we could
I
grab-
tend to stay on the lighter side.
You know what you could also do? You could just grab McKinnon and just be like, we're just.
I was going to say that before. I didn't want to. I was going to say,
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say we could double up on him. I just didn't know at the right point and didn't want to.
There's different rounds, like you can have them ping pong weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, but we've seen them both be used in the same game before too.
So what we need now is kind of a fringe NFC team that we can get some nice
Yeah, I
points
mean,
from.
David Montgomery, I was thinking about.
Well, what seed? Where do we think Dallas? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I
Somebody
think
that
we
won't
could
run
do
into
that.
Dallas early. Maybe.
I mean,
I think we could
Green
also
Bay's
go-
in right now. Like you could get if you want to. How fringe do you want to go? What do you mean?
We don't need to get that
Green
fringe
Bay's
because
pretty fringe. Yeah, that's.
the Chiefs probably won't get the bye. If we had the
Right.
49ers
We could do.
or the
What about Vikings? Vikings, maybe.
I'm now wondering if we don't I think Gallup should be a priority ad on this
I agree.
team.
What about
And,
Tolbert?
Is Dowdle
Okay,
gone?
wait.
'Cause
David
Dowdle-
Montgomery
I think
has
Dowdle's
fallen.
actually.
Well, we could get Montgomery Laporta on this turn potentially.
Well, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, if they're there. Oh, yeah.
Laporta
won.
goes. That doesn't, but you could still do Montgomery Jameson.
Yeah,
You wanted
Yeah.
to play that.
I think Detroit's an interesting.
I think
We
we
could
should
also
probably
go
grab
Dowdle
Montgomery.
Gallup or something.
Yeah.
Dowdle.
You think
Dowdle.
Dowdle over Montgomery?
If we could go, we would have to go
Dowdle.
Montgomery, Dowdle, and then go.
Well, they're a lot better
Detroit
chance to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's just
I
a bet
think.
on the. I think
And
we
then
go, I think
we could
go
have
Dowdle.
late. We could have more. Yeah, I like Dowdle.
Because we don't want to
Well,
go 4 running backs, so we're kind of locked out of Dowdle
Why?
now.
Why can't we go 4 running backs?
Why wouldn't we go Jameson and Gallup?
That makes sense. Jameson Gallup makes sense.
9-10.
Basically, you don't. The way the roster construction breaks down is 4 running backs is like really. you're kind of tying your
I
hands behind your back in terms of the combinations that you'll have later in the later rounds.
Yeah.
Because you only start one running back, you start 2 wide receivers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
So
think we do
Yeah.
Gallup here because even if you miss out on Jameson, a guy like Reynolds or Khalif Raymond is a decent out.
Okay.
Yep, I like that.
Yeah.
The
But
yeah, basically what you want to try to draft running backs that are going to go as late as possible, and that kind of you want all your players to go as late as possible. So that's one reason to do that. But the other is that you then, like the way the combinations work out, you don't want to lose. You don't want to end up losing running backs.
But is it like a thing you can't do?
When you're
Because
weak
with
wide
Ferguson
receiver.
and Gallup and both of the Chiefs running backs and kind of playing that as a ping pong thing, like Dallas's running back
Yeah.
here feels like it actually makes sense. Is it that bad of a?
I think this
It's
might
just
be
that
a
you're
spot
gonna
that it
be-
would make sense if we build that they went to the Super Bowl or made it really far. They could. I know
It's
that you know
yeah,
normally
I've
that's-
experimented with it, but it's that you're going to run into a team that's got like these same guys plus a surviving wide receiver on the other team.
Yeah.
Is
And
what it
you
is. It's
do
that
also need wide receiver firepower to
yes,
advance.
Yeah.
yeah. It's just going to be really thin at wide
Quentin
receiver.
Johnson, TD. God, we didn't get the Easton Stick rushing.
I need to see what my QJ exposure is. I had enough of him, but I don't know how much I advanced.
Ooh, JMO gets sniped.
Oh, JMO's snipe job. So Josh Reynolds is a gross, but he runs a lot
Did
of
Gallup
Yeah.
go?
We have Gallup.
Yeah.
We
You
took
could get
out.
Tolbert.
That's what I said.
Do Tolbert and Reynolds as these last 2 picks.
But we don't have a Dallas running back.
You could also go Dowdle if you. I mean, at this point, you might as well just do Dowdle. I think Montgomery's the pick. That's
Yeah,
work,
that's,
but
I
yeah,
meant
we
Donald.
need-
but
I
that's
meant
why
Dallas to get to
Montgomery
the Super Bowl.
earlier.
Don't
That's
think
why I
we
was
have
saying
to
Josh
take
Reynolds.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I think we go Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
'Cause we
But
need two
shouldn't.
pieces.
I don't think Tolbert should have been the pick. Dowdle Reynolds is how I would have closed that.
But I don't mind this construction where
Yeah,
we're playing
it'll work.
AFC Chiefs, and then we have 2
Mhm.
really good Super Bowl matchups with Detroit or Dallas with them.
Yeah. It works.
What
I think
Pat,
you
I'm
want
curious-
Dowdle instead of Montgomery. There is I think what.
That's where I am. Yeah, I think the same thing. Donald over Montgomery would have.
like strictly for the Super Bowl unique piece?
Yeah, because you're betting on like the way I think you want to think about this is like first you want to think about I flipped the cards over and this team made the Super Bowl.
Yep.
What are my chances of winning a 400 person final? That's what you think you should think about first.
Mm-hmm.
And it's much more likely that Cowboys make the Super Bowl than the Lions. And
Yeah.
so you're much happier to have, I think, the Dowdle, Ferguson, Gallup part of it than Montgomery, Reynolds part of it.
The counter to that would be, if you're thinking about the unique pieces, most people are playing it as Dallas being more likely to go. Dowdle has a higher ADP than Reynolds. I think you could argue that you're pulling a different uniqueness lever and that you would be just as happy flipping over the cards with the Chiefs Lions.
You'd be very happy to flip over the cards with the Chiefs Lions on this
Yeah.
team.
And that,
You'd be-
and so that's
you'd be
what I'm
really-
saying.
Yeah. If
And
you
so
made it.
And we're acknowledging just Lions versus Cowboys, and obviously Cowboys have a better chance. But for also just general optimal construction and allocating roster spots, you would prefer not to have the 4th running back.
Yeah, going Reynolds over Dowdle at the end was the right move because when we took Montgomery, we were betting Lions Super Bowl, and I basically never got fully on board with that bet. That's why I was like, I don't know, maybe Dowdle.
Yeah.
But the right move was to get fully on board with the bet.
That's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with exactly where you're at, Pat. I mean, once we took him, then I was like, yeah, we probably don't want that 4th, but I would have probably made the opposite pick there. But it makes sense what you're saying too. I mean, about it's more unique.
The reason I like is just because I really think, the difference of the points you're going to get from Montgomery, from Dowdle, like it really could be the piece that gets you from the divisional round of the conference championship.
Yeah, those advanced Simmons.
We got a big winner in the chat. That QJTD just made someone $2.5K on a triple spice with the Easton fumble.
Oh my God, JGFC!
Wow.
JGFC, send me that the screenshot on Twitter here so I can see this bad boy and show the people. Incredible.
That's awesome.
Congrats, man.
Nice work. Well done.
We should have just spiced it up with the game like this. Just gonna let spice, baby.
Well, I mean, we thought there was a 35 over under. I didn't know it was gonna be a game like this.
Spice it up.
There's like 70.
We know there was gonna be this many
80 points. How many points in this game? I was thinking about taking the under. There's been 84 points in this game. Good Lord. They've gone fucking more than double the over under.
So is this going to be another week where like every stud busts and like, I mean, because it's kind of feeling like how last week was starting off now, where Thursday night game was
Quentin Johnson, the guy you need.
After all of my Quentin Johnson teams are eliminated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he loves us. He's gonna wait. I want to see how many Quentin Johnson.
We dropped him like on all of our high stakes, I think.
I advanced 2 Quentin Johnson teams, I'll have you know. Including my Justin Herbert.
I'm sure.
Could have been an Easton Stick team with this Quentin Johnson, Keenan Allen stack. I didn't play it the right way. That's amazing.
Man, Easton Stick's gonna get the ball back.
Yes. Don't give them another chance. They're gonna run it and that's gonna be game.
Looks like I have 11% Quentin Johnson.
It looks like we are gonna get the scoregami, Gretch.
Are we?
Yeah, this game is a 99.57% chance of ending in a scoregami.
Nice.
63-21. All right, JGFC just DM'd me his pick 'em here. Let me pull this bad boy up. Look at this, dude. You are a sicko. Jacoby Myers, Spice TD, Easton Stick, fumbles lost, Quentin Johnston, TD. Beautiful.
$25.
Wow.
500.
Guys, is this where Easton Stick just becomes the legend of all legends right here?
Not if you're in a pod with them.
They're gonna run it, dude.
Yeah.
I hope you're right, but they're gonna hand off and just end the game.
Oh, they're gonna run it, dude. With Easton Stick.
This is a straight handoff, 2-yard carry, and Brandon Staley's on the field before the clock's at 28 seconds. He's walking to midfield.
He's stretching right now.
Yeah, he's already on his way to midfield.
Come on.
No, the 2-yard gain was a 4-yard gain.
All right. I have zero interest in getting Taco Bell. I'll tell everyone right now. This game is over, and I'm not getting Taco Bell. I was going to make a grand proclamation if they ran another play, and they did not.
They did not.
This is why you always get insurance on your picks.
Dicker, I mean, so close. So close. It's painful. Mayer, smash. AOC, smash. Dicker, lower, smash. Devontae over Gerald Everett, smash. Easton Stick couldn't get his 2 little twig sticks to rush for 9 more yards. Jesus. All right, we need to go so Pat
Easton Stick in the mud, am I right?
Nailed it.
Appreciate all of you hanging out. What I was trying to tease,
We're delirious.
What I was trying to tease
I was waiting as long as I possibly could.
I was just gonna try to let that go.
How long have you had that one?
I sat on it for a full 3 seconds.
Sit
Just
on
let it
longer.
breathe. Hang on.
The tease I was trying to do
Wait
is
until
we
it's
tentatively have Cooter Doodle booked for next week. So that
Cooter Doodles Wordle video.
It's one of the funniest pieces of content I've ever seen.
So fucking funny.
Yeah.
I didn't even play Wordle.
He's hilarious.
Good.
I retweeted it. There's like 4 different like ebbs and turns to the video, and then the punchline is perfect. You have to go watch that video. So hopefully we'll have her on next week, which I believe is the second to last. It'll be the penultimate regular season shipcast before the El Nino Bowl between the Jets and the Browns in week 17. Anything else from you guys here?
Scoregami. Sorry. Walkthrough.
Underdog gonna pay out for those scoregamis.
That's just excited. We got the scoregami. We got the scoregami.
He scratches like a little kid. Scoregami.
The walkthrough.
The walkthrough is it'll be out a day later than usual because it's not done being written. But check out Sacrilegious's article on the site. If you're like, Pat, what the fuck are you talking about with combos? He explains it with math and stuff. So I would, and some cool charts. So I definitely recommend doing that. We're gonna have some more best ball playoff content for tomorrow on Legendary Upside. I'm also gonna be doing a Legendary Sickos episode with Eric Bimefor for the first time since the summer. So that'll be fun. Doing DFS MVP as usual with TJ Hernandez and John Daigle. So lots of pod content for you from me tomorrow.
Also, you're going to be doing DFS After Dark with me on Saturday.
That's right. I'm doing DFS After Dark with Pete.
The walkthrough will hopefully have just been published right before we go on.
Yeah, the walkthrough will be published before DFS After Dark. That's my promise to you.
You know there's 3 games on Saturday, right? You got to get those.
Yeah, I was just about to say, there's games Saturday.
Pat,
right?
I'm telling you right now, for all of us, just prioritize the Sunday main slate. I don't need you writing about Jake Browning. Just fucking write about the main.
It's not going to save me much more time. It's
going to save me time.
You're not going to get it. You're going to get it like an hour earlier tomorrow afternoon. Not
perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
But that doesn't help me because I'm at work. So once
Steph.
I miss
It helps Steph out do it, but it doesn't help.
Whatever. Just fix your site, Pat.
Sorry.
It's functioning fine. It's the guy running it.
Same stuff as usual, and then Friday night and Saturday morning, I'm taking my oldest daughter to a cooking class. First time we've done that.
Ooh.
Pretty exciting little holiday treat for dad and daughter time. That's what I got coming up. Excited for.
Yeah,
nice. I hope my best ball teams will be heading to a James Cook class on Sunday. I tried.
How did you lose the Easton Stick in the mud? How did you? I thought it couldn't go lower.
Steph, anything you'd like to plug? Fabulous edition.
I will have a write-up next week about all of our teams' performances, and they will be doing amazing. And I will be maybe writing about how Dak kicked the Bills' ass after this week.
There you go. This is it's going to be an epic showdown. I've been told by lots of Bills fans they're running the table team of destiny. So would be hate if we had to lap up any of those tears on the timeline on Monday.
Hearing it hundreds of times from one Bills fans, named Liam Murphy's not hundreds.
No, it's
of
two. Leone's just as bad now. I'm telling you, he's turned into Liam. Yeah,
no.
He's out here on Twitter.
He doesn't tweet
the table.
Oh, is he? I missed that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to.
I had to reply to one of his tweets last night. I think verbatim, I said, "Your slow metamorphosis into Chess Liam has been a sight to behold." He's just as bad.
Is he touting Kincaid as well?
Oh,
he's been touting Kincaid since the summer.
He loves Kincaid. Can't get enough of him. All right. Also, shout out to our producer, Nick, in the hopper here, grabbing some timestamps so we can get a fun highlight video tomorrow. Thank you, Nick, for your time tonight. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. As always, have had a blast doing these, even when it's Easton Stick, not getting us higher than 19.5 rushing yards. We appreciate you. Be sure to check out Stat Chasing. That'll be on Tuesday as usual, and hop in the Discord with us. All kinds of fun best ball, playoff best ball talk going on these days. We'll catch you around the interwebs. Peace.